Hi everybody, Renegade 67 and or 68 here with some more Let's Play / stream Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works of the blind variety. So, last time, whatever, we're having a date. That's cool. Also though, shout out to Zerul, I think that's how you say that, Best Girl, followed me 21 hours ago, so that would have been... what, shortly after I finished my last stream, I guess. So probably shortly after that stream ended. Thank you for that. But also, combined with that and Ninja Bro 4D, who I kind of shouted out in the middle of my last stream, we have now actually hit that 100 follower mark. We've been dabbling close to that, but I'm actually at that mark now on Twitch. So that's cool. Anyways, lunch date and nice Rin image. I also am still, I really like this baseball image. It's nice. I wish we had a Saber baseball image. Maybe the anime will show that to us so we can see Saber baseball style. So lunch starts 2 hours late. How dare they? Why does it start 2 hours late? Is this just 2 hours later than usual, or did it take you 2 hours to bicker about whether or not you were going to do this? Why is it starting 2 hours late? I don't know. Maybe it just took 2 hours to set everything up on the picnic. That seems weird. Maybe it's just 2 hours later than he would normally eat. I don't get it. Oh? What's wrong, Shiro? Why are you spaced out? Oh, and of course, a close image of the special image. Do you hate spicy food? I, Renegade, am quite a fan of spicy food. I have a spice limit. At a certain point, I am like, back off, please. But, you know, as long as it's not too spicy, I do like my spice. Shiro, though, I think is less caring about spice right now and paying attention to some sugar, if you know. And again, you could arguably, you know, you're arguably also still spice, but, you know, and maybe you're also everything nice. Ha ha. Jokes about shows that I've not seen much of. I've seen, what, 1 or 2 episodes of that way back in the day? I was not a Powerpuff Girls kid. Anyways. Ah, yes, the male gaze. She's right next to me. Tosaka says so from a close distance.
Yeah, 大丈夫。強烈な味付けだけど、うまいぞ、これ。
No, it's fine. It's really strong, but it's good. It's good. I say so and take another bite.
そう、よかった。サンドイッチをまずく作るのって一種の才能でしょ？もしかしてそういういらないもんまで持っちゃったかと思ったわ。
Really? That's good. It's a talent to be able to make a bad sandwich, right? I thought for a second I got the useless talent. Got that useless talent. I mean, if you try to cook for someone, I guess that's one way. But Rin's mostly sugar with an outer layer of spice. Yeah, given how much of a what's it called? You know, murder virgin she is. Definitely a lot more sugar in there. Even if it is spice on the surface. But I will say though, I don't know, you know, I used to eat sandwiches a lot back when, you know, during the schooling days, but I don't really eat sandwiches much anymore. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, of the basic sandwich. It's too basic. I suppose, like, I like it more with, like, white bread than, you know, whole wheat bread, which whole wheat bread is healthier, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, white bread is tastier. That said, even with white bread, it's just a little boring. If I'm gonna have bread, I'd rather have fancy bread, like hot dog bread. Haha. Tosaka laughs. Speaking of laughing, that's something you don't do, Shiro. Dash dash. If I look spaced out, it's probably because she's dazzling to my eyes. Oh, what are you doing, Shiro? Where are you looking? We're eating lunch on the grass under the clear blue sky. This is peaceful enough, but it's too much once Tosaka's added to the picture, and my nervousness is returning. This is peaceful enough? Does it being peaceful make you happy? Once Tosaka's added to the picture, does Tosaka being there make it more peaceful? think that's debatable. Even if she's anti-murder, she's pro-fighting. She wants to do all of the fighting with none of the murder. I guess the pride in her makes her want to do the fighting, and then the Tosaka in her makes her want to not murder. Or something of the sort.
Oh, 口元にトマトが残ってる。取ってあげよっか?
Oh god. Oh, you have a piece of tomato on your lip. Should I get it off for you? I can be taken in such a dirty way. How are you planning to get it off, Rin?
突然何言い出すんだよお前。それぐらい自分で取る。
I love the way he voiced that. What are you saying? I can do it myself. I love that. Makes me sad that this transcript doesn't have an option to play the voice. I would love to hear that again. I wipe my mouth with my sleeve. Oh. Crap. What? Did you show your hand? And you know that she's gonna take that and be like, haha, you pervert? I think the Tosaka name and pride is the same thing that wants the fighting. I guess if I was to call it the Rin thing instead of the Tosaka thing, sure. Morality is what doesn't want to do the murder. Yeah, so I guess the Rin is what doesn't want to do the murder. I was just saying the Tosaka as in referring to her as Tosaka, which I guess is, you know, a slight misunderstanding. It's just Shiro calls her Tosaka all the time, so it slips into my vernacular. Yabe. I got a red stain on my sleeve now. Oh, but don't you like red being all over you? I mean, after all, you like the red so much on her, you're gonna wear more red when you grow up.
あっちゃ、ちょい悪ふざけが過ぎたか。ごめんね、シロがあまりにも予想通りの反応するから、つい面白くって。
Oh, Rin. Jeez, I guess I played around too much. I'm sorry. It was too funny because you gave me the exact reaction I wanted. You wanted that reaction, huh? And why did you want it? You want to go in depth into why you wanted it, Rin? You wanna stop beating around the bush and, you know, say the words? Or are we gonna wait till Saber's not around? Tosaka hands me a napkin. I don't know if she's laughing or apologizing. Why not both?
いいよ。どうせ今日は一日中こんなもんなんだ。気にしない。
I don't care. It's been like this all day today. Gosh, I'm so indifferent. Here's my son. I take the napkin and wipe my sleeve with it. The red stain isn't coming out. Oh no, it's secretly blood. Looks like Tosaka's using some original sauce. Is this some kind of special magic sauce? To give me an extra kick? The stain is in there and doesn't look like it'll come out easily. I know! Stain your whole shirt red. That way people will just think it's not a stain but the color of your shirt. Haha! Foreshadowing.
けど今に見てろよ。今日の教訓を生かして、明日からはちょっとやそっとじゃ動じなくなってやる。いいから、いつまでも思い通りになると思うなよ。
What are you trying to say, Shiro? I heard a Naruto in there. I know he probably wasn't actually saying Naruto, and that just came out through a combination of different words, but because I know that that's apparently Sasuke's voice actor, I heard a Naruto in there. Someone at some point said that's Sasuke's voice actor, right? I still have to, like, try to hear the Sasuke in there, but just you watch. I'm gonna learn from today's experience and be less perturbed starting tomorrow. Don't think it'll go your way forever. But yeah, Shiro, you're getting into this, huh? Starting tomorrow? You're saying there's gonna be a tomorrow? More dates? Tomorrow we're gonna be at school. You're getting in this a little too much, Shiro. Are you gonna allow yourself to get into it this much? At what point are you gonna snap? Are you not gonna snap? Are you fighting back against your inner self that's saying don't do it? It is Sasuke's VA? I guess it's just because I'm mostly familiar with the dub Naruto. I could pick out the Japanese Naruto voice a lot. You know what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is. The main Japanese I'm familiar with Naruto is the arc where Sasuke is not around much from the original Naruto. I watched the retrieval arc, or rescue arc, however you want to call it, in Japanese because that was like where I was getting really interested and the dub was taking too long, so I went and watched that arc in Japanese. So some of those voices, like Naruto's Japanese voice, are ingrained in my mind. But Sasuke's not around much in that arc. So, and aside from that, I mostly know the dub of Naruto. So, and then I went to Shippuden and I saw a lot of that Japanese, but a lot of early Shippuden. Sasuke's not around either, so I guess the Japanese voice for Sasuke just isn't in my head very much. And then when it finally probably would have gotten into my head, that's right, during the Itachi hunt, that's when I actually was getting impatient with the anime, so I switched to the manga for a while. Yeah, so it's like I never really had a good chance to hear the Japanese Sasuke voice when I think about it. Anyways, but just you watch. I'm gonna learn from today's experience and be less perturbed starting tomorrow. Don't think it'll go your way forever.
へえ、じゃあ明日からは手加減なしでできるわけね。
Oh, does that mean I don't have to hold back starting tomorrow? Oh gosh, what's holding back and what's not exactly?
よかった。いい加減猫をかぶるのにも飽きてたところだったんだ。
Oh, are you admitting the mask has been on? That's good. I was getting bored with putting a mask on. Uh-huh. You've definitely had a mask, but what mask are you saying? You've definitely had one. Exactly what mask are you talking about, Ren? Is it the same mask I'm thinking of? The Red Devil smiles back. I feel like the way you're talking, it's not going to be the same mask I mean, but it could be, I suppose. It seems like you're more joking, but I could totally take it seriously.
いや、今の取り消し。もうちょっと時間がかかるから、しばらく今のレベルで抑えてくれると助かる。
I take that back. It'll take some time, so it'll help me if you keep it as it is now. Rin was trying her best not to make Shiro awkward, holding back from going full dere. Yeah, I guess to keep him comfortable, because this is how she's been so far with Shiro. She doesn't want to fully make herself vulnerable, because then Shiro might be skittish away. So let herself in, as it were, using this personality. I can see that. The self-admission of a mask is interesting, though, because it comes off a little jokey. But I guess, you know, the best lies are the ones with hidden truths. The best jokes with ones are hidden with seriousness. Depends on the context of the joke, I think, where that's concerned. But sure. I can see that.
そう？シローがそう言うならいいけど、レベルアップしたくなったら教えてね。遠慮なく叩きのめしてあげるから。
The full admission. I love it. Really? If you say so. But tell me when you want me to go to the next level, okay? I'll knock you out without reservation.
くそ、いつか返り討ちにしてやる。
Damn, I'll get you someday. Get her how? What do you think she actually means, Shiro? What do you think she means by next level? Are you taking it the way you should be taking it? I don't think you are. And if you are, that's surprising, based on your inner self. I'm not making excuses, but it sounds like an excuse. It's somehow really vexing, so I decide to take it out on the sandwich in front of me. Ah, die, sandwich, how dare you! I eat the sandwiches. I see why I like this Sun relationship. It's because they're both Suns. Oh yeah, they are Suns. Shiro doesn't tend to be Sun much, I would say. But around Rin, his Sun really comes out. I think he's got like a reactive Sun. Like when that's the competitive part. Yeah, that's exactly. Where Saber, you know, she's competitive in fights and all that stuff, and games and stuff. I think Shiro's competitive against other Suns. Like when someone Suns him, he Suns back instinctively, I think. And so that makes for an interesting Sun off between the two. I think Rin is just generally Sun, but Shiro's a counter Sun. I was hungry and it's Tosaka's handmade meal, so I'm gonna eat all of it myself. Well, actually, Saber already ate about a third of it. So what, Rin gets nothing? So Saber and I munched down the sandwiches. Tosaka must be full. She just stares at us. What, did she have just one sandwich? Or is she full from her ice cream from earlier? Are you on a diet, Rin?
体の調子良さそうじゃない。これなら午後は遠慮なく引っ張り回しても良さそうね。
Your body seems to be doing well. I guess I don't have to hold back in the afternoon. Yeah, because you noticed that I was kind of fucked up yesterday. I'm assuming Archer and you didn't have the talk about how he fixed me. I mean, he might have if you asked him, I suppose. Maybe he did. I don't know. Debatable. If he didn't, then this is you getting a clear indication that he's okay. You probably would have been paying attention throughout the day and noticed he's okay anyways. And this is just you verbalizing it. Yeah, I think this is more just you verbalizing it. Whether Archer told you or not, he probably would have, because you probably would have wanted to know because you really care. Although you might have been more distracted in your own world at the time when Archer did that. Oh. So, but yeah, I feel like this is more just you verbalizing it as a warning to Shiro that you're going to the next level. She makes an evil smile again. It's that smile. She's more looking forward to seeing me She's more looking forward to seeing me worn out than what she's actually gonna do. If Shiro was actually struggling, I think Rin would just have a home date instead and just chill. I suppose. To be fair, Rin's been very assertive from the beginning. So the fact that Shiro's actually been keeping up does suggest that he's not too out of it. So she could have potentially seen the flags early on if she didn't know. But more looking forward to seeing me worn out than what she's actually gonna do. I think she still just cares most about your fun, and I think she can tell at this point that you're enjoying her pulling you around. You enjoy being a whipping boy.
甘く見るな。この程度引っ張り回されたぐらいで値を上げるもんか。昨日ならいざ知らず、今日はずっと調子がいいんだから。
Heh, don't take me too lightly. I won't be exhausted just by having you pull me around. With yesterday aside, I've been doing well all day today. Take that.
そうなんだ。ならもう大丈夫かな。
I see. Then I guess you're all right, hmm? She eats a sandwich. Okay, so we have a sandwich face for Tosaka. Tosaka sighs with relief and reaches out for a sandwich. I didn't realize we still had any left. I thought Shiro already ate the rest. It's as if she's saying her burden's gone now. Just because he's physically alright doesn't mean he's mentally alright. Question mark, exclamation point? No, exclamation point, just ellipses, but I threw it in there anyways to make it more dramatic. The moment I wonder why she said that. See, then I guess you're alright. Reaches out for a sandwich as if she's saying her burden's gone. I mean, I think you're missing the point, Tosaka. He was physically messed up, not just mentally messed up. So he's saying he's physically better. If you actually realize that, if you think he's mentally better because he's saying he's physically better, then you're missing the point, Rin. Oh. Everything fits together. Oh, you remember the conversation about how she'll get you to admit defeat and have fun? Is this when you snap at her then? I mean, you've already internally been like, I shouldn't be having fun. So if you realize that she is trying to get you to have fun, would you snap? That's just dash. Because if you've been going along with this for her sake, because you think, oh, if it's fun for her, I should let her have her fun. But even if I'm having fun, I don't deserve it, but I shouldn't take her fun away just because I'm getting my undeserved fun. And I'll just keep it up for now. If that's the case, but you think then that she's trying to have you to have fun, then would you fight back against it? Come to think of it, it was really unnatural. The reason Tosaka came to my house. Archer knew about my body. Archer knew about your body. I don't think Shiro would ever snap at Rin. He might just snap at the world. I don't know. The biggest fear is, I guess, just not fully giving in. Come to think of it, it was really unnatural. The reason Tosaka came to my house. Oh, that? Oh, that one's obvious. She came to your house, because you didn't talk to her the day after Kazuki fought you. So you could have been in trouble. She was worried about you. If you didn't know that much, then I already fucking realized that. Shiro, come on. Took Shinji almost killing Taiga last time for him to actually snap. Yeah, I suppose, but this is different because it's not like he would snap in the sense that he would try to do anything bad to Rin. Yes, him hiding the pain, yeah. But if Rin pushes really hard and Shiro really adamantly feels he doesn't deserve it, then maybe he'd snap. Just in a different way. Not in the way with Shinji. That's a different kind of snap. There's more than one kind of snapping, I suppose, is the best way to put it. But Archer knew about my body. Archer knew about your body. It could have been because Rin told him, or it could have been because he just felt something in his own Ghiblis. He must have heard that I projected his swords and knew that there's something wrong with my body. Oh yeah, Rin probably would have been like, hey Archer, what's up? You know, he projected your swords. That could have happened, or he could have just known because his own Ghiblis were messed up. Hard to say. With the date with Saber, Shiro only ran away after Saber implied she felt nothing toward him. And that he was a walking corpse. Yeah, but that's a sort of snapping, and I know that he really had to be pushed. But I think, if Rin really confronted Shiro, he would just peace out. I mean, yeah, that's a sort of snapping, though. Like, right now, he's going along with it. If he was to just walk away from everything, I think that's a subtle snap. I don't think a snap has to be extreme. It doesn't have to wipe out half the universe for a snap to be a snap. I mean, that's a snap. I mean, just because nothing special happened doesn't mean it doesn't count as a snap. Anyways, he must have heard that I projected his swords and knew that there's something wrong with my body. Possibly, although I think that might be assuming when you don't need to. That's fine. But Archer, the one who wasn't there at the time, knew about the projection because Tosaka told him about it. Assumedly. Then, as Tosaka told Archer about our battle against Castor, wouldn't Archer tell Tosaka about the penalty on my body? Maybe. Although maybe... Oh, okay. What are you thinking, Shiro? Are you having some really thinky thinks? As Tosaka told Archer about our battle against Castor, wouldn't Archer tell Tosaka about the penalty on my body? But she's acting like... Well, okay, there's two ways to take this, Shiro. It's good that you're being smart, but there's a couple ways. Way number one is that they never conversed, and so Rin was thinking about your mental well-being and not your physical well-being. In which case, Archer just knew because he had his own Ghiblis because you summoned his swords or something, you know. Or way number two is they did converse, in which case she knew about your physical woes and is still just focusing on your mental woes, I feel like. But in which case she's reading into the situation incorrectly, though, so... I don't know.
Tosaka.
Okay, let's just get into it then. Tosaka.
何
What?
お前、なんだって昨日うちに来たんだ。しかも泊まっていくなんておかしいぞ。昨日は藤姉にかき回されて気がつかなかったけど。
Why did you come to my house yesterday? And it's strange for you to stay over. I didn't notice all this yesterday because of Fujine. She came because she was worried about you. You missed one of your meetings, right? Theoretically, unless there's something more than that. Dash. A brief moment. She came because you missed a meeting and she was worried about you. And you don't like her being worried about you because you're the hero? You can't have her being worried about you? Even though she feels like she should be the responsible one in the relationship? Because she's the one who's done all this magic stuff? And possibly you helped her out in the past somehow, even though we don't understand the full extent of that. This is maybe Shiro piecing together that Rin actually likes him. Which I've just, known the whole time, more or less. But I guess I haven't been thinking about it as much from his perspective, where he's just been thinking that maybe she's been screwing around with him because it's fun for her and not necessarily because she likes him. But I hear Tosaka gasp.
なんでって、別に理由はないけど、昨日のはただの気まぐれよ。たまにはああいうのもいいかなって。
Rin, you're beating around the bush. Shiro does not need bush beating right now. Drop the sun and be honest. I don't have a reason. It was just a whim. I thought that it might be fun once in a while.
そうか。確かに昨日は賑やかで楽しかった。
I feel like that's deflecting. I think she was actually worried about him. But, I see. It was certainly fun last night. Was it? Was it when you guys argued against each other? Was that fun? Also, it was certainly fun. Admitted to having fun.
でしょ?
Right?
何もなかったけど、ありがとう。
Huh. Yeah, but thank you. Thank you for worrying about me? Are you just taking the implication, or are you thanking her for the date that you're having and how she's making you have fun? Your inner self still seems to be rejecting it, but your outer self is accepting it? I think it's a half-truth. Her falling love in Shiro and diverting from her path is fun. It is. But also, she's probably just worried about him. Dash. What, you can't just take a normal thank you? I don't know if he said some fancy word in Japanese, but in English, I don't think thank you is very, is very crazy of a thing to say. Wow. She turned red in an instant. Does he normally not thank people? Is Shiro not a thanker normally? I think he's a thanker. He can thank.
何勘違いしてんのよ。私は別にシロを気遣ったわけじゃなくて。
Oh, I see. So we're on the same wavelength then. We're all on the same wavelength. Shiro was like, Ren was saying, I thought it'd be fun. And then Shiro's like, okay, that's nice, but thank you for worrying about me. I understand. And then Ren understands what he understood. And so Ren's like, well, what are you thinking? I wasn't worried about you. I mean, you basically just answered your own question, Ren. But, you know, or rather the theoretical question that nobody was asking. But you have now answered it, which is answering it wrong. But you answered it right by being so overzealous about the wrong answer. Right? I confused myself. Anyways.
協力者が減るのはマイナスだもんな。だから様子を見に来たんだろ?
You're really gonna put it like that, Shiro? I know. It's not good to have your ally die. That's why you came to check up on me, right?
そうよ。よくわかってるじゃない。
Now, Shiro, do you genuinely think that, or are you saying that to make her, to relieve her stress because you see her stressed out and you don't want her to be stressed out? That's right. You're pretty smart.
けど、たとえそうでも感謝してる。
Yeah, but I'm still thankful.
遠坂が何企んでいたかは知らないけど、気を使ってくれたことだけは絶対なんだからな。
This feels like multi-layered thanking that can be read into in a few ways. It's interesting. It has layers. I don't know what your intentions were, but I'm sure you cared for me. Ellipses. She groans in dissatisfaction. Her gesture's so cute that it makes me smile. But will you go so far as to laugh about it? Does she not like when you have hand? Because it just makes her, you know, feel like that she can't avoid the situation. If you know that she likes you, and she knows that you know that she likes you, and if he likes you back, then you feel awkward about turning him down because you wanted to be happy without going the full way. Maybe even now you weren't quite trying to go the full way because you didn't think he felt right about it. Or maybe you do want to go the full way, but you haven't mentally realized that if you want to go the full way, then it's not that bad to, you know, just give in. Yeah, Shiro might be willing to accept because he's forced to, given what's happened, that she cares for him at least in a friend zone sense, but he's going to keep denying the inner potential of romance because I don't think he thinks he's worthy. Her gesture's so cute that it makes me smile.
なるほど。そっか。
Which makes him extra thankful that she cares as much as he does, because he's just a shit human being who's not worthy for this, and yet she did it anyway. So, wow, thank you, Ren, for hanging out for someone like me who's not worthy. I see, I get it. I guess I get it. Do you get it? It feels really great embarrassing someone you like. So you definitely like her. Is that why you get it? Because she has been embarrassing you a bunch. This means, hey, maybe it means you finally beat her, as it were. But that would be you understanding that that she likes you, and that's why she has so much fun embarrassing you. Is that what you're admitting, Shiro? The weather changes once we finish lunch. The sky is filled with clouds, and it looks like it could start raining at any moment now.
仕方ないか。傘もないし、今日はもう帰りましょう。
I guess it can't be helped. We don't have any umbrellas, so let's go home. Like but not love. You can like a friend. Yeah, sure, I guess. But like, come on. Come on. There's no objection. Like, if you go out and say, I like you, to someone, I mean, I feel like the implication's kind of clear. You used a weird word for it, and they might ask for clarification, but I don't think the implication when you go out and say, I like you, to someone is, as a friend, unless you say that much. You know, that'd be something they do in a sitcom, where it's like, I like you, and then they give a second stutter, and the person looks at them and goes, huh? And then they're like, as a friend, goes, oh! But anyways... There's no objection. It's Tosaka who started this, so it's her duty to finish it as well. Is it going to finish without any kind of drama? That would be surprising. We get off the bus. It's about to start raining when we reach the familiar intersection.
今日は楽しかった?
Did you have fun today? Oh. Ooh, is he going to admit it? Is he going to admit that he had fun when he doesn't like having fun? Internally, he's admitted it. So I guess we gave up on the second half of the day because it started raining. Rain when we start to head home. Oh, sorry. For a second I thought you said Rin when we start to head home, and I'm like, he used Rin! No. Right when we start to head home, Tosaka suddenly asked that question. Huh? I don't even need to answer. It was fun. It's like I got thrown in a washing machine and turned around and around. I feel like my nervousness got washed away along with the dirt. But... day complete. Good job, y'all. C+. You made sure to have fun, but didn't erase his self-hatred? Well... how's he gonna respond here? Oh yeah, Ilya. Freaking, you know, Ilya and Ayako. We need them both. They've both been out of the narrative for far too long. At least Ilya got a bunch in Timeline 1. But like, Ayako, what are you doing, Ayako? Well, you had like this whole cool bro talk in the beginning of the thing, and then we didn't follow up on it, and then you went missing for a while? You went missing for a while? And then something went happen with Shinji or something. We didn't follow up on that? And it's like, what the fuck, Ayako? Ah! But...
どうなの? 楽しかった? Shiro.
So, was it fun, Shiro? Are they hiding a plot twist with Ayako? Because that's, you know, my initial thing with Sakura. You know, I was like, when I realized that Shinji was a master, I'm like, oh, maybe Sakura's just fine then. Because it'd be weird if they both plot twisted. But then, as things went on and Shinji died and we didn't see the reactions or anything, I'm like, no, there's probably a Sakura twist too. But like, now Ayako, they keep ignoring her, and I'm like, unless she's just randomly unimportant for no reason, maybe she's got a plot twist too. What would the twist be? I don't know. And how do they... Grumble, grumble. I hope there's a plot twist with her, because that means she might have some importance, at least at some point, somehow, maybe. Because otherwise, she's just this really cool friend character who they keep teasing might do more stuff later, and then she doesn't! So, was it fun, Shiro?
Ah, 参った。こんなに遊んだのは久しぶりだ。よくもあそこまで振り回してくれたな。
Ooh! You admit that you give up. She said she wanted to make you give up, and you just gave up. I give up. It's been a long time since I played this much. Man, you really did take me to so many places. the more fun it is, the more you don't like it. You don't know if Sakura even has a plot twist. No, I don't. But I will be very surprised if she doesn't at this point. Very surprised. Ayako, I could see as just being bad writing. But, Sakura, I'm fairly convinced. The more fun it is, the more awkward I get, feeling that such a thing is more than I deserve. Uh-oh.
そう、シローが何を考えているか知らないけど、楽しいんなら素直に楽しいって言いなさいよ。ここまでエスコートした私に失礼じゃない。
Good point. That's true, Shiro has dodged the question. I gave up. It's been a long time since I played this much. Man, you really did take me so many places. Yeah, but he didn't say it was fun. Because he doesn't want to, you know... Inwardly, he's admitted it, but outwardly, he's like... The more fun it is, the more operating a feeling such things deserve. I see. I don't know what you're thinking about, but honestly, tell me it was fun if it was. You're being rude to the one that escorted you. Does he want to outwardly admit it? More like you, bad reading. Ha ha ha. What a phrase that is. Bad reading is when you, Oh, for example, here's an example of bad reading is that earlier I thought that Shiro said Rin with the right when we start to head home. I thought he said Rin when we start to head home. I was thinking he said Rin when we start to head home said this. And if that was the case, and if I had just kept understanding it that way, and then later on there's like a thing and I'm like, oh, but he said Rin earlier, and he didn't, that's bad reading. But you're being rude to the one that escorted you. Although, you know, if it makes it more interesting, that it might not even be bad reading. It might be, but, you know, it turns around and does a 360 and becomes good reading. Huh? No, that's not what I meant.
あるわよ。あんた、無意識にブレーキかけちゃってるもの。前に何があったか知らないけど、そんなに辛いことだったら、いっそ忘れた方が楽じゃないの?
Yes, that's what you meant. You're unconsciously putting brakes on. I don't know what happened to you before, but why don't you just forget it if it's so painful? Uh-huh. Yeah, she's right. He is putting those brakes on. He's not willing to say it out loud. Why don't you just forget it if it's so painful? Do you know the details, Rin? Or do you not know the exact details? You've made an implication that you know something about something, but exactly what is the something? And how much something is the something, if it was something that was something? Dash. It's not something that can be easily forgotten, to be fair. My breath stops. She did an Archer! She came out and said something and was kind of blunt about it! He did have fun. She succeeded in making him have fun. But he's still not admitting it fully. So she decided to take the blunt approach. Smart, I would say that's smart. Get him to see if he'll just say it. And if he doesn't say it, but then clearly makes it clear that he did have fun, then yeah, I guess the blunt approach is the best way at that point. It feels like she stuck a knife into my wound with amazing precision. Tosaka, that's... Why don't you just forget it if it's so painful? Forgetting it isn't easy. Rin, did you try to forget, you know, the pain of the death of your parents, as it were? Is that what you just forgot? I don't feel like you just forgot. I feel like you took it as a huge burden and kept the responsibility of the Tosaka clan or whatever. I don't think you just forgot. Tosaka, that's...
さあ、私のしたことじゃないわ。まあ、当初の目的は果たしたし、あとはそっちの問題か。
Ooh, that's not a good mentality, Rin. Unless you're just lying to see how he reacts. It's not something I care about. Well, I fulfilled my original objective, so it's all your problem now. It's always been all his problem. If he doesn't have a crutch, he might not be able to solve it. Maybe this is enough of a push, but if you just zone out on him now, he might not handle it well. With her hair trailing behind her, Tosaka heads to the hill road. Not towards the Western-style houses, but to the Japanese-style houses. She's still coming back to your place? She says she's finished her objective, but she's still coming back to your place because she still wants to follow through and make sure you're okay. Ellipses. I stand there in a daze.
Shiro, 家に帰らないのですか?
Shiro,
時期雨が降ってきますが。
are we not going home soon? It will. Are we not going home? It'll rain soon. Yeah.
そうだな。行こう。
Let's go. Iko! Ikuya! Being urged by Saber, I start off. Hajimeru yo! What? What happened? Something fancy? What's going on? Is it Shinji? Is it Ilya? What is it? Question mark? As soon as I return to my place, I feel something really strange. Did someone invade while we were away? Everybody was away? What about Archer? Rin said Archer was keeping watch at Rin's place. But does that mean nobody important was keeping watch at our place? What's going on? I was thinking something crazy would happen at the end of the day, and they kind of waited till we got home. But something has happened. Nothing is missing, but a sense of nothing being right assails me. Oh no! Uh-oh. The two make difficult expressions. That goes the same for me as well. They both also sense something is off. Oh, shoot. Sounds like some kind of twisty plot thing that may have twisted. What's even at Shiro's place? There's no magic stuff or knowledge. Still, they could set up an ambush, especially if Taiga's around. There could be like a hostage. This feeling. It's like always, but something important is stripped off. The thing missing from this place, it's... the boundary field's gone. Oh, shoot! Someone removed it, which means they removed it so they could get in, so maybe what? Is Taiga taken hostage, or... Alright, well, who's the bets? Who do we think broke in? It would not hurt at all if Ilya just broke in, finally, because, I don't know, she needs to do something. It could be Shinji, but... Gilly implied they had to do something else first, so if they implied they were going to do something else first and then just immediately did this anyways, that's kind of narrative whiplash in a way. They could do it, it would just be weird ordering. The boundary field's gone. The boundary field my father set up. I suppose Castor could be attacking, but Castor, I think, would just maybe chill and plan a little bit more at her temple for a bit. So, I don't know, maybe because of how long Ilya's been gone, maybe it just is Ilya. Although, depending on what Gilgamesh meant, maybe Gilgamesh was going after Ilya, which complicates matters, and then maybe... I don't think it's Castor. I think Castor is least likely. I think Ilya or Shinji is more likely than it being Castor. The boundary field to notify us of intruders has been cut off by force. Uh-oh!
誰かが留守中に押し入ったみたいね。出かけてたのは幸いか。
It seems like someone came in here when we were gone. I guess it was fortunate we were gone. I mean, if it came off, that means someone purposely peeled it off, right? Because they could have just went in. I mean, would the boundary field have alerted you from super far away? Like, I don't know if it would have alerted you from super far away. Because, I mean, does it work that way? I got the implication it's like, it works while you're there. I felt like someone took it off and invaded, for the boundary field to be gone. Otherwise they could have just went in and you wouldn't have heard if you were far away, I think, but I don't know. It seems like someone came in while we were gone. I guess it was fortunate we were gone.
Shiro, Taiga wa?
Yeah, exactly. What about Taiga? Hostage? Hostage. Dash. Taiga serves that hostage-ish role kind of well. She was sort of Shiro's morality pet for him to go over the edge with Shinji. in Timeline 1, and so she might have been taken hostage now as a more proper hostage role. That time was more just, you know, it was sort of hostage, but it was hostage adjacent. Imagine if Ilya just died off screen from Gil. I don't feel like that would be right. Ryder was sort of anticlimactically outed, but it sort of works because they were setting something up and then cut her off. With Ilya, she's just being gone the whole time. Like, they could have logically done it, but I don't feel like that's narratively satisfying. For Gilly to just beat Ilya off screen. Anyway, Shiro, what about Taiga? My anxiety rising, I begin to run. Because we've already gotten a tease. That's the whole thing. Is we got a tease early on about how, oh, after Archer attacked, Ilya was like, ooh, Archer, you're interesting. I might look into you more. For her to just get beaten off screen after that feels narratively unfulfilling. But I begin to run. There's no time to think. Hold on, the enemy might still be inside. What about Taiga? Oh, of course, you know, flicked his Taiga button. He has to be, he has to lose his cool in this situation. It makes sense. If the enemy's still inside, you gotta protect my rear and help me out. I hear a sound. Uh-oh. The instant I open the door, I can feel the stagnation in the air. What is the sound he heard? What is the stagnation? Who is the enemy? Find out after the intermission. Which one's attacking? Oh boy. In my own home. My own home! Shiro's gonna backtrack so much if Taiga dies. I mean, you know, we've joked about this, but I feel like she'll be used as a hostage, but I don't know if they'd full-on do it. At least not until Timeline 3. Because I feel like how much backtracking it would have is too much at this state if, you know, Shiro is just chronologically moving forward through the timelines. If they do it, I feel like they do it in Timeline 3, if at all, because then he might be mentally stable enough to actually fight back against that without regressing too much. But, the instant I open the door, I can feel the stagnation in the air. I will say, I appreciate how open and free the visual novel feels at this point, where, like, anything could happen, just because of how naturally, for the most part, with a couple exceptions, things have been deviating from Timeline 1, all from the initial change of Shiro using that command spell to make sure Archer didn't get injured. Things are so different now that, you know, it could really be anyone attacking. Ilya has a reason to attack now, even if she didn't in the other timeline. Shinji's got a reason to attack now, even if it didn't have in the other timeline. Castor has a reason to attack now, even though Castor did attack in their timeline, but not till much later. Well, much later? A little later. Things are different enough that, you know, the future is unpredictable, but because of natural changes. I enjoy that a lot. Most everything has been shifted on the stage, as it were, the stage of the Grail War, in a natural way, for the most part. So where it goes from here could potentially be anywhere, without needing to really, you know, the narrative needing to do much work as to why it's here, and it wasn't in the other timeline, for example. Thinking about it, Shiro's place only got attacked twice in Timeline 1. Once was Castor towards the end of the war. Another time was later on when Kirei came in and attacked Rin and stole Ilya. But the instant I open the door, I can feel stagnation in the air. The remains of the intrusion. The air is heavy like silk, with just a small amount of filth. I run in with my shoes on. I don't have the time to take them off, and I don't have the composure to even consider such a thing. Well, then I guess you're dirtying your floor. Oops. I run into the living room. The lights are turned off. And this is fun because we're coming home to an already invaded house. Well, I guess we did that in Timeline 1 too, but it was a little bit different. In Timeline 1, there was the 2 invasions. One was Castor attacking and we were protecting the fort. And the other one was Kirei already attacked when we were away and attacked Rin and already stole Elia, and we were just dealing with the aftermath. Here, it feels to me like we're looking for the intruder who is possibly still here. That would make this interesting, in my opinion. If they're gone, then I guess it's it could still be interesting if like Taiga's been taken hostage or something. But if they're gonna do the hostage Taiga, they can do that without it being out of our house. I suppose there's strategic merit to taking Taiga out of the house because it's Shiro's home base. But I mean, how effective is Shiro's home base anyway? So maybe she's just gone. I suppose they could do that. I feel it's more interesting, though, if we're playing offense in our own house. Well, we'll see. The lights are turned off. Under the gray sky, the dark room contains... Oh!
あら、このまま連れ去ろうと思ったのに、いいタイミングで現れるのね、坊や。
Oh, I thought I'd just take her, but you came at the right time, boy. Castor? Really? I was saying I thought she was the least likely. It still makes sense, but... Okay. I guess if Gilia is busy with Elia, it makes sense under that perspective for it to be Castor. This just seems weird to me at this point because... Well, why is it weird? Because we know Archer can already beat Castor. He already, essentially beat Castor once and let her go on purpose. So, I feel like Castor, even if she's biding her time, I feel like she would bide her time and build up to something that can beat, you know, Saber and Archer, rather than just confront. With the Kazuki situation, she was on defense. They attacked him. And so it's interesting to me that she's going out of her way to be the aggressor here. I guess she wants to be the aggressor rather than the aggressed because she doesn't feel comfortable fighting Archer again. It makes sense. No, it totally makes sense for her to take Taiga hostage, especially if Castor knows where everybody is. If Castor can tell that they left, if Castor can sense their presences at all times, basically, and has like a net and knows that they left and it's just a single person all alone and she can go for the easy hostage take, if she knows that, which she very well could, then it's a very understandable move. But I guess maybe the implication is she does know stuff like that, and I could see her knowing that stuff. In which case we were, you know, sloppy and leaving her alone as it were, but it's a dangerous gambit because there's not really turning back at this point for Castor. Because before with Kazuki it was self-defense, but here Archer at this point might just, you know, cooperate with Rin and kill Castor the next time he gets the chance, possibly, from Castor's perspective. Now, so does she think she's competent enough, or does she think, is she confident enough in this maneuver that she won't have to worry about that? You know, so it's a risk, but I guess because she's taking a risk, it's because she feels desperate and feels like if they attack her, she will lose. Or she just thought this was such an easy option, but I thought I'd just take her, but you came at the right time, boy. There we go, the hostage. Fujine standing unconscious and an enemy called Castor. So are you physically there? Because these last couple times it feels like you've only been like spiritually there and not actually there. Would you have actually come out of your temple? Because if you aren't actually there, how are you taking her? I guess you could teleport if you're actually here. But teleporting, they need to put a limit on how much she can teleport. Because, like, it's one thing if she can teleport, but if she can teleport with another person, then we need to understand the limits of that, because that's pretty OP if she can do that. Standing unconscious, an enemy called Castor.
Castor!
I hear Saber's voice from behind me. The two stop when they see Castor. It must be because Fujine is held as a hostage. Archer did say she can only teleport in her territory. I don't remember him saying that, but if that's true, then she shouldn't be able to teleport right now. So she should still have to fight her way past us. Or just say, if you touch me, I'll kill her. Though it depends on how much we care about Taiga. Shiro cares enough about Taiga, but like, it's sort of a back and forth game at this point, because if you have one hostage, and I know Shiro would break down, and Castor could use that emotional baggage to run away, so she's probably just going to be able to get away unless someone pulls some clever tricks. But if she actually has to physically pull Taiga out of here, if we were competent enough, we could maybe negotiate and talk her down. Like, what are you going to do? After you kill her, we'll just have you surrounded. But I guess it depends if she's also got Assassin and Kazuki with her. If she doesn't, she might lie and say she does. It might turn into a negotiation game at that point. But Castor will cast a spell if Saber or Tosaka attacks her. She is a caster, after all. She'd cast a spell. It'll be faster than anyone here. The more specific words were like, in this territory you can use magic close to true magic. Something in spatial transportation. Sure, and yet Archer was still able to basically almost kill her, and could have killed her potentially if he wanted to, from our understanding, despite being her territory. So even if she can teleport, it takes a lot of energy and she has to be paying attention, I feel. It'll be faster than anyone here. Even if Saber charges. Even if Tosaka casts a spell. I mean, of course, her spells would be faster than Tosaka's spells. I feel like that's what that's saying. What about you, Shiro? What about an arrow from an archer who's secretly been watching all along? Has he been watching all along? I feel like it's an archer thing to be watching all along. Because he'd be like, isn't she unprotected? That's a bad move. Caster's fingers will light up faster than anything. Their position. It looked kind of seductive. If Castor would do that. Taiga's face will explode like a tomato. Ooh. You couldn't bring yourself to say the name? His face will explode like a tomato. Oh, it's funny because Taiga talks about fruits a lot. Dash, dash. You couldn't bring yourself to say the name because you don't even want to think about... You don't want to put the name to the thing. You don't even want to think of her as Taiga. I guess. Have you called her Taiga yet? Tosaka cast a spell. I don't think you've called her Taiga yet. You've said Fujine. Okay, never mind. It's interesting, though, that you wouldn't say the name here. Dash, dash. He had to repress that name or else he would go insane and do something dumb as fuck. Oh, yeah. The idea of her face exploding, I suppose. My mind freezes. I'm angry because you hadn't considered this as a possibility. Because you went out and had fun and... left her unprotected. You didn't really want to combine the master life with the school life. You had that problem in Timeline 1 as well. You're a little better in Timeline 2, but still haven't been willing to fully take things seriously. I guess the other option is Taiga could die here, but I've thought about the idea of if Timeline 3 is the timeline where Shiro starts getting things together, it could, as far as understanding that there's time travel happening, then that might be where he has to try to stop some of the bad stuff that happened in Timeline 2 and Timeline 1, for example, if he is getting some understanding by Timeline 3. Possibly. That would make him certainly more alert to stuff like this. But you have to be careful with that kind of thing, because if you're acting in a way to prevent stuff like that, it'll cause alterations, butterfly effect and all that, so that could cause a whole other spiral, but I'm angry. This is what happens when I try to have fun. Oh no, that's such a bad takeaway for Shiro, but yeah, it's because I had this date, I got punished. I tried to have fun, this happens. It's not fair, exactly, this is why I can't have fun. I'm so mad that my vision is about to turn red. Taiga got hurt because I had fun, But my mind is objective. Is it? Is it objective? Are you sure? In this circumstance, is your mind really objective? I never knew that you could yet calm if anger passes a certain level. Oh. I guess, I don't think it's anger that's making you calm. I'd argue it's more the fear. But really, are you saying it's more anger than fear? Interesting. I'm angry. Angry at yourself? Because this would be because of you. You're less angry at Castor for catching her, and more angry at yourself for letting this happen because you're having fun. I assume that's why you'd be angry. And yet you still have to focus on saving Taiga. So you're able to keep your anger in check, I guess? I never knew that you get calm if anger passes a certain level. Went from hot rage to cold anger. What do we got?
魔術師であるのなら、結界にはもっと力を入れ
It
ない
makes
と。
sense. It makes sense Castor's the one to take down the field, because she is the one who maybe is the most magically knowledgeable. And Shiro's field probably isn't the best. So it definitely makes sense that Castor could just be like, plop, and take it down. I can see that. You're too careless, boy. If you're a magus, you should put more care into your boundary field. He's not the best magus, at least when it comes to generalist stuff. She laughs. How dare she laugh? I take it like it's happening to someone else. How dare you take it like it's happening to someone else? Wait. That's good water. I take it like it's happening to someone else. Oh, yeah, because you don't want to accept this as reality because it's too terrible. Like, Taiga has just been your person to have fun with in your real life that separates from the master life, that hasn't had to get involved. And yet, Sakura has been staying, theoretically, Sakura was staying at the Mato house for this theoretical reason, right? So that Sakura wouldn't get involved in this kind of incident. So you should have been aware of the possibility of Taiga getting involved. And yet, I guess you didn't really want to consider it. Rin herself said the field itself was open and full of emotion. I take it like it's happening to someone else.
首相な心がけねえキャスター。自分からこっちの陣営にやってくるなんて降伏宣言のつもり？
Rin is good at keeping her mask up in situations like this. She definitely is feeling very shaky right now, I'm sure. But she probably wouldn't care as much about Taiga as I would if something happened. She'd only care by association to Shiro, I'd say. Because she can tell Shiro would probably lose it. Then again, I know that Rin herself is also a bit of a murder virgin, but, you know, she wouldn't necessarily care as much about Taiga, obviously, as Shiro would. How admirable, Castor. Did you come here to surrender yourself?
ええ、似たような要件よ。もっとも許しを請うのはあなたたちの方でしょうけど。
Yes, I have similar business. Well, it'll be you people that'll be asking for forgiveness. The voice is enough to create sparks between them. Tosaka glares at Castor and does not do anything. Oh gosh, you're refusing to say the name. Life will end if she moves. You refuse at this point. You said it once. You said it once a while ago. You said that it was Fujine, standing unconscious, an enemy called Castor. But you refused to accept. You just said, oh, she's unconscious. You didn't accept that she was being held by Castor. So you said it as long as you're disassociating, but as soon as you start associating to what's actually happening, you cut it off and you're like, no, that's not her. That can't be her. That's just some stranger. I don't know her. Life will end if she moves. Taiga's life. If Tosaka's gonna move, I'll... Tosaka before Castor will. What is this? If Tosaka's going to move... Okay, now the dashes are interesting. Because this can't just be if Tosaka's gonna move, I'll Taiga Tosaka before Castor will. If Tosaka's gonna move, I'll move Tosaka. If Tosaka's gonna move, I'll kill Tosaka before Castor will? What a strong line. Raw Shiro. Yeah, I think that's what those dashes are implying based on those dashes. He refuses to mentally say it, but, like, the words in the order are there. He refuses to associate it with Rin. I see what's happening here. He's disassociating the situation from anything personal so he can try to get the best scenario by disassociating himself. You know, the Kiritsugu, saying, you know, woof, woof, woof. Like, Taiga's life will end if she moves. He's disassociating the Taiga there. And then in this sentence, if Tosaka's going to move... then again, he's not disassociating the name here. He's just disassociating the word. Still, though, I'll kill Tosaka before Castor will. If it's just one word, that would be the word. Makes sense. If you kill Tosaka before Castor will, then Castor might let Taiga live. The strong implication here is that he cares more about Taiga than Rin, and if Rin tries something, he knows who he cares more about. Woof, woof, woof. Usually, you know, that's the thing, though, is that heroes, Oftentimes, narratives don't have the balls to put heroes in the situation where they have to choose between two loved ones. And when they do, there's usually a cheat out option. Somehow they can cheat and get away with it with both. I heavily respect narratives where there's no cheat and they just actually have to choose and live with their choice, which doesn't happen often. If Tosaka's gonna move, I'll blank Tosaka before Caster will.
で、人質を取って何をするっていうのよ、あんた。
So, what are you gonna do using that hostage? Powerful scene, powerful scene. The fact that we're even given these thoughts from Shiro suggests... It suggests even if he doesn't do anything bad, the bad thoughts are there on the below the mind. They're there. Are they coming through because of Archer's cynicism? Or is this just heavily suggesting the badness that's in his heart anyways? How some small tip in one direction could throw him into being a supervillain instead of a superhero. One bad day, as it were. You know, to quote the Joker. So, what are you going to do using that hostage?
あなたに用はないわ。関心があるのはそこの坊やよ。
Really, the boy? I have no business with you. I am concerned with the boya. I love the way that they say boya for boy. It's great. I love it. I don't know. I just love that that's a thing that they say sometimes. I have no business with you. I'm concerned with the boy. Interestingly concerned with the boy. I guess because you don't want to get on Archer's bad side. Maybe you are trying to use this as a way to take control of Saber. Or maybe it's, okay, you know what? You would have seen the sword birth and you would have been like, wait, what the fuck's that? Maybe you want to get me on your side. Maybe you want to control me specifically. Because you know that I'm magically weak when you were able to easily manipulate me to get you to the temple. But then you also know I'm somehow strong in some areas. Someone like that, who's especially strong in one area, but generally kind of weak, is extremely good manipulation fodder, I will admit. I'm concerned with this boy.
ねえ、私が持ちかけた話をまだ覚えてる？
Oh boy. Hey, do you still remember the offer I made? I see. So you actually are trying to get me on your side because you thought that the sword birth was really interesting. Huh. Or are you just trying to lie and use this as an opportunity to get me to, like, turn on Rin or something? That might be it, too. Your offer was, I remember, you'll give me a strong servant if I just join you or whatever. And now you're sweetening the deal, saying that if I don't join you, you'll kill Taiga. I think under those circumstances, Shiro with his mental state would probably accept if nothing stops him from accepting. Because I do think that given, you know, general terms, Shiro will be like, oh no, I definitely want to save as many people as possible. We have to stop Taiga from killing randos. But put in this situation, he'd probably be like, okay, kill as many randos as you want, just don't kill Taiga. I think that's where his mindset is right now. That will kill his ideal 100%, I would say. But it's already a little in tatters because Archer kind of went up to him and went, your ideal is bullshit, how are you going to save people? Do you still remember the offer I made? The event at the temple. She might just be luring him into a trap. She might genuinely be doing it because he is interesting with his sword birth, but she might be luring him into a trap, just, you know, deal with Rin to make dealing with you easier. The event at the table. Caster told Archer and me to be her subordinates. Didn't you learn from the previous experience? Oh, this situation is different. Tosaka's angry. That's surprising. Archer told Tosaka about it, huh? I guess Archer's pretty honest with her. I mean, Archer was asked. Rin did want to, like, find out what happened with Archer after the fact. And so she would have wanted the full details, and he wouldn't have held back, I suppose.
懲りる？そうね。本来なら一度断った人間に関心なんて持たない。
Learned from previous experience?
それも相手によるのよ、お嬢さん。
Yes, I usually would not be interested in someone who refused already. But that depends on the person, little lady. And maybe their mental state. I don't know how good at you are at reading people, Caster. Mentally, that is, beyond just physically reading them. Granted, you physically misread Archer in the last scenario, but I guess physicality is a bit different from magicality. Caster's watching me.
あなたは面白いわ、坊や。聖杯戦争は今回で5回目。そのいずれもあなたのようなケースはなかったでしょう。
She is genuinely interested in me because of my sword birth thing. Makes sense, makes sense. You're very interesting, boy. She could still be lying, but I don't think she is. This is the 5th Holy Grail War, but I don't think a case like you has existed before. He is special, that's for sure. Well, Caster did say, sorry, not Caster, Rin did say, Rin, who is a caster of magic, she did say that if a bunch of magical people found out about me, they might try to, you know, dissect my body or whatever. And Caster is a type of magus, so, you know.
殺してしまうのは簡単。けれどせっかくの貴重なサンプルだもの。できれば殺さずに手に入れたい。
It's easy to kill you, but you're a valuable sample. So I'd like to obtain you alive if possible.
わかって。こんな無粋な真似をするのもあなたを生きたまま仲間にしたいからなのよ。
Do you understand? I am doing such an intelligent thing. Inelegant. I think it's also kind of intelligent. I am doing such an inelegant thing because I want you to be on my side alive. That means red text! Oh, fuck! Is this the first time we've gotten red text in this timeline? Ooh. Interesting. So, red text in Timeline 1, there's a couple different ideas of what it was signifying. It could have either been... It was hard truths he was avoiding, for sure, but what did that mean? Was it that that was some inner part of Shiro that he normally represses? That, you know, some super evil demon within him? Or is it just things that he likes, you know, or was it just more a manifestation of darkness that he tries to avoid? Or things he tries to avoid in general? That means, I think this is him, the darkness in him, either accepting or considering the possibility of saying yes. She will kill Taiga if I refuse. That's probably what, yeah. He has the little I in there for Taiga, I think. This is his mind going a little evil because he wants to accept. He's understanding the truth, the hard truth, the really hard truth. The thing he got good at getting over in Timeline 1. But this is maybe a little harder than anything he had to accept in Timeline 1. She will kill Taiga if I refuse.
私は主の命に背いてここまで来た。そこまであなたを評価しているのだから、こちらの熱意も信用できるのではなくて?
I came here disobeying my master. I value you that much. So can you not trust my enthusiasm? I mean, it's hard to say. If Shiro genuinely wants to save Taiga, if that's his top priority, he should say yes even if he's lying. If he wants to find some way to maybe get out of this later. But we went over this with Ilya, where in the one bad ending, where depending on how it's set up, a contract like this can be very permanently binding. And if you accept, you might get like stuck and not be able to get out of it. So it could be a thing where you can't just, you know, say yes for now and fuck her over later. It could be like magically permanently binding. It doesn't sound like a Kazuki plan at all. Kazuki is far too passive, I would say. And he would also think, what's the value in that boy? We'll just kill him. He wouldn't understand the magical value because he doesn't care as much about the magical science, I would say. Shiro turns into D&D Warlock. Caster being his patron. So can you not trust my enthusiasm?
何勝手なこと言ってんのよ。マスターに黙って好き勝手やってるやつが。
Don't say ridiculous things. You're just doing whatever you like without obeying your master. Ooh, Carrot, watch your mouth, Ren. If you mouthing off causes her to do something bad to Taiga, ooh, Shiro wouldn't like that.
あらしっと。でも残念。悪いけどあなたに興味はないの。 魔術師としては優秀みたいだけど、私には到底及ばないわ。私が欲しいのは完成した万能ではなく、
I don't think jealousy is
完
what's
全な
going
得
through.
意能力だけ。
I don't think jealousy is what's going through Rin's mind, but I understand that you probably don't think that either and just love to, you know, sound in charge. Are you jealous? But I'm sorry. I'm not interested in you. You seem to be a strong magus, but you're far from being able to match me. I do not want complete omnipotence, but an incomplete unique ability. Yeah, I guess that explains his ability pretty well. Shiro just instantly projecting a sword in Rin would be rad and sad. I agree, yes. Especially if it's Archer's sword. Because, you know, then she's being killed by her servant in a way. Especially if Shiro is Archer in the future past. And it would be fitting, it'd be full circle because, you know... oh, wait, no, this is too early, isn't it? I would say it'd be fitting because the bad ending where Saber kills me is the servant killing the master in Timeline 1... I was going to say, I don't know if this is too early or not, but if there's a Rin route and we need... I mean, I think that... like, if there's a deviation between Rin route and bad Rin route where you die, maybe it's not you dying, but you going evil. Maybe it's like the reverse, where if you like Rin enough, you try to get out of this situation without hurting Rin. But if you don't have enough Rin points, you fucking kill her. I could see that being where it goes. So instead of you getting killed, you do the killing if you don't have enough points. I could see that. In that case, it's less about them liking you and more about you liking them, but them liking you makes you like them more in theory. But an incomplete unique ability.
その点、そこの坊やは理想的よ。魔術師として未熟なもの。
I was saying that.
御するのはたやすいですし。
In that regard, this boy is ideal. He's an amateur magus and it'll be easy to control him, but he's got such a cool ability. Yep. It makes a lot of sense now that I think about that aspect. Yeah, now that I think about how she is really just a magus. And Rin was saying, if any normal magus found out about you, they'd want to, you know, conduct experiments on you. And, well, she's kind of a normal magus. Well, she's not a normal magus, but, you know. A charming laugh. Caster urges me for my reply while digging her fingers into Taiga's neck. Oh, this is so juicy. This is so juicy. Always after the dates, we have the juiciest scenes. The Gilgamesh confrontation was very juicy in Timeline 1, but I think this might even be juicier. That was very juicy. That, you know, it's a similar hopeless situation, to be honest. I will say that in Timeline 1, the situation felt super hopeless because Gilgamesh was way too good, and I thought in Timeline 1, we can't possibly beat him. Saber is outmatched, and Shiro, he tried his one-shot attack, and it didn't really work. It injured him a bit, and it caught Saber, it caught him off guard enough, I think, that he ended up retreating, and that surprised me because I thought his ego would keep him from retreating. But he was following Kirei's plan, so... So we got lucky in Timeline 1 that we actually got out of that, the post-date situation, as it were, alive. Will we get just as lucky this time?
困った子ね。悩むことなどないでしょうに。
How troubling. You should not need to think about it.
聖杯を手に入れるのは私以外にない。この町はとっくに私のものだもの。いくらあなたのセイバーが優れていようと、無尽蔵の魔力を持つ私を倒すことはできないわ。
You should not need to think about it. Nobody other than me will obtain the Holy Grail. This town is already mine. No matter how strong Saber may be, she cannot defeat me as I have infinite magical energy. It's so funny that we saw before this timeline where we see just how crazy cool Caster is. In Timeline 1, we barely see her, and then the one time we actually really see her outside of bad endings, she just gets one shot by Gilgamesh, which is, It's funny to think of. But I guess it's a rock, paper, scissors scenario where she beats most people she knows about. She probably just doesn't know about Gilgamesh. So for her to be truly, properly threatening, Either Gilgamesh has to already get taken out by someone else, or maybe she has to find out about him and figure some other way of dealing with him beforehand, or something like that. Then again, thinking about this, when Castor attacked us at our home last time, we were in a really bad position, actually. It wasn't as intimidating of a position because we hadn't gotten to know just how dangerous she was yet in that timeline. But we were still probably screwed if Gilgamesh hadn't shown up. And so it'll be interesting to see how we can potentially get out of this without Gilgamesh showing up in this one. He could just show up again in this one, but that's too narratively repetitive. This town is already mine, no matter how strong Saber may be. She cannot defeat me as I have infinite magical energy. Dash, dash. Saber's presence moves. I mean, you might think if Rin moves, I'll kill Rin. But Saber can you physically kill? And also you might think it's a little too disrespectful. Rin is technically an enemy master, but Saber, you know, is your servant. She's ready to fight. She will charge at Castor if she sees an opening. So you're not going to give her an opening? Saber should be acting on your command, Shiro. Also, Gil's probably dealing with the Ilya situation. Yeah, possibly. That does. I mean, maybe that was the implication. If it was, I don't know. Does Ilya just get captured off screen? That feels, I don't know. Shiro can easily kill Saber. Oh, kill yourself, Saber. Oh, I guess he could do that. That's pretty dark, but maybe if it comes to it. Has that been properly explained to him, that the command spells can do that? Maybe it has. I don't know. But, I feel like if Ilya just gets beat by Gilgamesh off screen, that's a little anticlimactic. After she was, it's been so long, but she set up that she was interested in, Archer. And that hasn't really been followed through for Ilya, or even just Berserker, even if Ilya makes it out alive, for her to get killed off screen is rather anticlimactic. There's definitely, I feel, more to Berserker that we haven't touched on. There's certainly more to Ilya. We know that because they have not confirmed that Ilya's daddy is also Shiro's daddy. But I feel like there's still more to Hercules, as it were. Even though we know his true name, he seemed to have some kind of relationship with Ilya that they never really touched on much in that timeline. I guess even if there isn't much more left to Berserker, there's still a little bit, I feel. I guess they could just leave it all for Timeline 3. Maybe. She's ready to fight. She will charge at Castor if she sees an opening.
だから無駄なのよ、セイバー。
I am telling you it is useless.
いいこと？ここでこうしている私でさえ影に過ぎない。
Oh, I thought you were actually here. Look, the one here is only my shadow. Okay, so your real self didn't leave the temple. It's just your shadow, so you can't do any crazy awesome jutsu. But I guess you don't need anything crazy awesome to kill Taiga. That's fair. That's a very fair point. Okay.
私の力の供給源は町に住むすべての人間。
Ooh.
1000人単位でマスターを持っているようなものよ。
The source of my power is everybody in this town. It's like having 1,000 masters. I mean, you only actually technically have one with Kazuki, right? But I guess if you can use your energy and convert other people, you could make yourself live past having your proper master. Yeah, negotiation from Castor's point of view, not a fight. I can see that. She's trying to not turn it into a fight. Because if it turns into a fight, you know, she loses her valuable Shiro.
それがどういうことか分かって？
Do you understand what that means?
貴様。
Oh, you got into your armor so quickly when I wasn't looking. No way.
そう。魔力のない人間でも魂そのものは別でしょ？
Yes. Even people without magical energy have souls, right? So you can eat their soul at any time? Yeah, Castor is that kind of person. As long as she knows someone important to you, she could potentially get to you. She bides her time to deal with the servants, but she doesn't mind doing practical stuff at all if she thinks the enemy masters have weak hearts. And Shiro's heart is very shaky right now. That's you know, I don't want to say it's weak, but it's definitely in flux.
私たちはもともとソウルイーターだもの。マスターから命という魔力を奪えば、いくらでも魔力は引き出せる。
Yes, even people without magical energy have souls, right? We are soul eaters to begin with. Soul eater. I wonder if that'll ever get another anime to finish the manga. Soul Eater Brotherhood, when? We got so lucky Guild killed her so quick. Yeah, it is really funny in hindsight. We can get unlimited magical energy if we suck magical energy called life from our masters.
あなたのその怪物じみた宝具も今の私なら何度だって扱えるわ。
I can even use your great noble phantasm as many times as I want. Yours? Not... Wait, do you mean yours or yours as in sabers? Because we have still not, and I thought about this off screen, we have still not seen, we do not know, in this timeline, we technically have not learned her true name. We have not seen Excalibur. Does Castor already know that this is Arthur, as it were? I can even use your great noble phantasm as many times as I want. Unlimited source of energy. I know that Castor is saying sabers. That's what I assumed. But, like, we don't know necessarily what the noble phantasm is. I mean, we know the wind sword. I guess it's split into a couple of phases. But yeah, I do think it matters. I do think it matters because depending on the noble phantasm, if it's something crazy, it could be like a suicide noble phantasm where you can only use it once, but it kills yourself and the person you're fighting. I don't know. You don't know. The caster doesn't necessarily know all the various noble phantasms. I think the implication is here is caster just does know stuff about her, which would make sense given how much, you know, caster knows. And caster saw her fighting in the... Caster saw her fight against Kazuki. She may have been able to study it to some extent. But... Castor seems like an Elia type of fighter. Lots of research. Yes. Elia is a bit malicious, but more... Elia is kind of malicious. That's not necessarily untrue from Castor. The difference is that Elia is more emotionally compromised, more potential to manipulate her emotions, whereas Castor, I think, is pretty set in her ways and can't really be fucked with emotionally. What kind of servant would have a suicide noble phantasm? I don't fucking know. Unlimited source of energy. And yeah, lots of planning that Castor does. Castor is very much a planned person. Yeah, I could say, yeah, similar to Elia. It's just not emotionally, potentially emotionally manipulated the way Elia can be. Magical energy sucks out of everybody in this town. That's why she's gonna win. She's saying she's invincible because she controls innocent people like Taiga. It's the same. Is it? Oh, you mean it's the same as in Taiga's gonna die so that you can live in this situation? Or everybody in the town is gonna die so that you can live? Because if you choose not to accept her proposal, the same as how everyone sacrificed himself for you to live in the fire. I think it's different, but I can see why your fucked up mind would make the comparison. She's saying she will laugh on top of other sacrifices. Dash, dash. The firing hammer rises. Heat returns to my calm mind. Yeah, I mean, I think from your perspective, how can this possibly get good? If we are saved in any way, it's probably going to be by Archer, not Gilgamesh, but Archer, because Gilgamesh it won't be because that's narratively lazy. And so I think the only notable one otherwise is Archer, unless Elia shows up. But Elia doesn't really have a huge incentive to save us at the moment. And it's been far too long, and it would come very out of left field. So I feel like just Archer is really the only possibility. If we are going to be saved by someone else. Yeah, can he project quicker than than she can cast a spell? It's a very good question. I don't think he's confident enough that he can, especially because he hasn't really practiced with it at all. Then again, it was instinctual last time, so maybe. And also, what is he projecting exactly? Because if he was projecting a longsword, like Caliburn, in the other timeline, maybe he could project it just into her brain. But if it's the short swords like the yin yang, he's too far away, I feel. Unless he projects the bone sword. But even then, is that long enough? Heat returns to my calm mind. Now let me hear your answer, Emiyashiro.
あなたに勝ち目はないわ。セーバーと共に私に従ってくれるかしら。
Oh, that's a cute way to get Saber as well, without having to waste your spell on it. Your spell that you were building up to. You have no chance of winning. Will you, along with Saber, obey me? Let go of Fujine. Ooh, you said her name again. You aren't saying yes, but you aren't saying no.
話を聞いてなかったのかしら。私に下りなさいと言ったのよ。
Did you not hear me? I told you to come under my control. Interesting that there's no choice. I thought there could be a choice, so maybe you could just choose the bad one. I know, like, with Elia, for example, when she says, hey, be mine, there's a choice. That one's a little different, though. There is more incentive, I think, to just hang out with Elia, because Elia's cool. Caster's more evil. Elia can be a bit malicious, but she's not really evil, I don't think. I think, if anything, she's mostly just malicious towards... She's malicious towards Shiro and maybe towards other masters because she has no remorse when winning the war. But I don't think she would go out of her way to involve innocents unless she thought it would give her a clear edge in the war, per se. And even then, I think she can be more emotionally compromised to not kill the innocents, whereas Caster just wouldn't give a shit. But... Did you not hear me? I told you to come under my control. Oh, he just straight up rejects it. Shut up. Let go of Fujine. Okay, so that's the direction we're taking. He had... Okay, that's, I think, the mentally mature response. The red text, interesting. The inner monologue before was suggesting he might be willing to go through with it. But now the anger of how bad she would be, and now he doesn't want to... He doesn't want to go along and be bad with her, because that would just mean more deaths because of him. And that would make him question why he was even saved by Kiritsugu. So I feel like, if anything, this is the dark part of his brain accepting, even if Taiga dies, the best circumstances to stop Caster and not work with her. Which might be why there's such an angry inflection there. It's a mature response if that's where his mind already has gone. There's nothing else. I have nothing to give her. He's still not technically said no, though. He's not said yes, but he's not said no. He's just said let go in an angry voice. I guess because he hates both options, so he's just hoping Caster will let go. He hates the option where Taiga dies, but he also hates the option where he joins Caster and causes deaths. It's too much bad no matter what, so all he can do is just ask nicely for her to let her go. A gritting sound. Caster grits her teeth in annoyance. She just wanted me to give in. I could have seen Shiro giving in. Grits her teeth in annoyance and sighs as if to calm herself down. So what are you going to do? Are you going to realize killing Taiga is useless? Or are you going to kill her anyways for pleasure to piss you off? Because, I mean, he might, if she's not gonna, you know, that's the thing, though. In a situation like this, if you just let Taiga go, then you're basically admitting that you won't go through with it in similar situations. And especially if this is just an echo and Castor's not actually here, there's no reason really for Castor to not just kill Taiga at this point. Unless she thinks she can somehow convince Shiro in the future. But if she has an alternate way to just mind control him, and this was easier to not mind control him, but just get him to agree willingly, yeah, I think in most circumstances she just kills Taiga at this point. Unless there's some special reason I don't know about.
わかったわ。交渉は決裂というわけね。聖杯を手に入れられるマスターは一人だけだもの。
Alright, so the
他のマス
negotiation
ターと手を組む気はないということ。
is denied. Only one master can obtain the Holy Grail, so you have no intention of cooperating with another master? It's not even about obtaining the Grail.
違う。聖杯とかそういうのは関係ない。俺はお前とは組まないだけだ。
Ooh, that sounds very calm, Shiro. I don't care about the Holy Grail. I just won't cooperate with you.
そう。嫌われたものね。私も。
I see. I must really be hated. By Shiro? Yes, you are the supervillain he's needed all along. I mean, Kirei in Timeline 1 fills that pretty well too, but you're okay. You're a nice second place. Har har har. Really, I think she arguably fills the role better, to be honest. It's a competition, though. It's definitely a competition. I wouldn't say either one easily wins. There's no sarcasm in her voice. I think, you know what? I think Castor is better as far as the normal supervillain is concerned. Kirei is a bit more of an unorthodox supervillain. There's only anger.
本当に残念。あなたを気に入っていたという気持ちに嘘はなかっただけにね。
This is really disappointing. I really did like you. Ah. What's disappointing? How are you gonna react if it's so disappointing? You gonna kill her? Are you gonna do it? Because that would be woof. That would be woof if you did it. It'd be so interesting. Please do it. But also, don't do it. But also narratively, oh, that could be so interesting. Do it. But don't do it.
もしあなたが私に協力してくれたなら、聖杯を分けてあげてもよかったのに。
I could have shared the Holy Grail with you if you'd cooperated with me.
それこそ余計なお世話だ。俺はお前みたいなやつを止めるために戦うって決めたんだ。聖杯なんて関係ない。
That's none of your concern. I decided to fight so that I can stop people like you. The Holy Grail has nothing to do with this. Yeah, the whole reason he's fighting is to make it so that people like them don't win the Grail War. That was the reason he said yes to signing up in the first place. So him cooperating with someone like you would go against everything he thinks he stands for. Yeah. This is him being resolute in his wishes, I suppose. This is him doing the cynical thing that Archer prepped him for. Maybe if he didn't have the talk with Archer, he would have just said yes. But, you know, the fantasy can't be preserved, as it were, in a situation like this. Archer hammered that home to him, so maybe he's just hoping and praying Castor doesn't go through with it. But he realizes that if he was to say yes to Castor, that would kill the fantasy anyway. It would just take a little bit longer. Just let Fujine go. I glare at Castor, taking my stare, full of enmity. Castor! Did she do it? Did she let go? Laughs for some reason. Laughs as if... What? As if you think there's any chance I let her go when you say no. Is that why she's laughing? You.
あら、気に障った？けどあなたも悪いのよ。心にもないことを口にするから。
Oh, did I get on your nerves? But it's your fault. You said something that totally went against what you believe in. What did he say? It's none of your concern. I decided to fight so I can stop people like you. The Holy Grail has nothing to do with this. Just let Fujine go. Huh. Has to do with how he doesn't want the Holy Grail, or it's got nothing to do with him? Holy Grail has nothing to do with this, but it has everything to do with this. At least for Caster. Also, if it's I decide to fight so I can stop people like you, you're not going to be able to stop her if you're saying no to her proposal. Because of the hostage situation? Maybe that's why she's laughing about it. Dash, dash. I didn't say anything against what I believe in. Debatable. I think that's debatable.
聖杯なんて関係ない本当にそうなのかしらね。あなたは聖杯の犠牲者ですもの。
The Holy Grail has nothing to do with this? Is that really so? You are a victim of the Holy Grail. Is he? If the Holy Grail had never came into Shiro's life, if Shiro had never become a master, he would never have been thrust into this position to force to confront this shit. But at the same time, he wasn't mentally in a good place anyway, and never really would have went anywhere mentally good. Theoretically, the Grail, in a way, you could argue it saved him, even if it did, you know, put him in a position like this.
聖杯なんて関係ない。そう言葉にする時点で、あなたは聖杯を憎んでいるのではなくて
The moment you say the Holy Grail has nothing to do with this, proves that you detest the Holy Grail. He'd be killed by Ilya. I mean, I know that happens in the bad ending where he refuses the Grail, but I mean, if the Grail never got involved with him at all, and even assuming Ilya never got involved with him at all, his life still wouldn't have went in any kind of good direction, I don't think. The moment you say that the Holy Grail has nothing to do with this, proves that you detest the Holy Grail. Uh-huh. Because, you know, you could potentially get the Holy Grail and do a good wish, and you don't even think about it. Which, granted, in Timeline 1, we sort of got his mentality of why, because you don't want to reverse things in the past, and that would be the main thing you'd want to do anyways. And as far as thinking about the future, you have to know things you like and things that are fun to really make a wish for the future, but you hate yourself too much to really process what you'd like and what you'd want changed to be considered better, and you don't think you'd have the right to make that decision because of all your self-hatred. Dash, dash, dash. At that instant, my mind freezes. The moment you say the Holy Grail has nothing to do with this, proves that you detest the Holy Grail. Well, in Timeline 1, he learned to detest it. Are we having flashbacks to that? Or is this just a general detest for the ability to wish for something like this? Or the fact that he has self-hatred and doesn't think he deserves a wish like this?
Shiro?
Oh shoot, what is Shiro thinking? That's a great question. Rin is now using the first name basis even in front of other people. I think she's fully on the Shiro train at this point. But also, Shiro negotiation tactics. Or lack thereof. Negotiation. This is a nice screen to save on because there's no music, which is nice. So it's good for intermission because I don't have to turn the music off. It's just already off. We're taking an intermission because I gotta pee. Shiro? I don't understand anything since my mind's frozen. Not even Tosaka, who's watching me with worry. Not even Saber, who looks down painfully. Ooh. You detest the Holy Grail. Oh, that would be interesting for Saber, because Saber seeks the Holy Grail to do her stupid wish. So, Shiro detesting it, this is cool, because I think this is confronting Saber's problems from the timeline without Shiro having to do it, necessarily. Because, like, Archer sort of confronted it a little bit when he said this, and now her saying this forces Shiro, you know, the reason that he doesn't, you know, want a wish, as seen in Timeline 1, Saber's forced to think about that, because she wants a wish. But, not even Saber, who looks down painfully. Oh boy. Dash, 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 dash. So many dashes. We're getting fuzzy. We're getting fuzzy. What does the fuzz mean? Does the fuzz mean we're connecting with our inner Archer? Or does the fuzz mean we're just breaking down? Usually when the fuzz happens, it's because of a connection to inner Archer, I feel like. Dash, dash, dash. Oops. Not even the nausea that fills me up. Oh, shoot. So you're getting nausea, and your inner monologue seems to know there's nausea, and yet you don't know there's nausea, but the nausea knows there's nausea. I don't understand anything. You don't understand the nausea, but the narrator understands that there's nausea. So you're not the narrator. Oh my god. Or rather, you are the narrator, and this is just you, you know, being like, I have nausea, and I'm going to play it off like I don't know there's nausea. But that's a hint to the fact that I ignore things still. And in fact, you know you have nausea, even though you're saying you don't know you have nausea. But that is a contradiction, because you are the narrator, therefore you know you have nausea.
知ってるわよ、エミヤシロ。前回の戦いは10年前だったんですって。その時にあなたは全てを失った。
I see.
炎の中に一人取り残され、死を待つだけだったあなたは、エミヤキリツグに拾われた。
She has done her research. I know Emi Yashiro. The previous war 10 years ago, right? You lost everything in that time. You were left alone in the fire, and all you could do was wait for death. And Emiya Kiritsugu found you at that time. Now, does Rin already know this? I don't think we've technically said this to Rin yet. Because, yeah, Caster did research. Yeah, she really is like the Ilya type in that case, versus the Rin type, who Rin will deal with things as they come. Caster and Ilya seem to prep in advance. Makes sense. Does Rin know this yet? Because Rin has insinuated she knows something bad about me, but I don't think she ever prodded. So if she found it out, she had to look into it on her own. She might have, but she might also not have. So depending on how Rin reacts will be interesting. Because she doesn't seem to have completely understand that Kiritsugu isn't my blood father, but at least she didn't in the past. She might have changed that since, but all you can do is wait for death, and Emiya Kiritsugu found you at that time.
だから本当はこの家の子供じゃないのよ、あなたは。
So you're not a real child of this house. That's true. In a way, he's a child of the Grail, because the Grail incident is what caused that. So that's why he hates the Grail. I could see that. He doesn't want a wish caused. He doesn't want a wish granted by the Grail, which caused that catastrophe all those years ago. He doesn't even think about the possibility of, well, what if I could use it for good? He just thinks if it can do that much evil, then it is a terrible thing that shouldn't be used for anything. I can see that. It's a very, you know, harsh black and white stance, but,
にもかかわらず、なりたくもない魔術師にさせられて、今まで苦しんできたんでしょ。
But you were forced to become a magus, and you've suffered all this time, right? Indeed. Dash, dash, dash. I think this is actually helping him therapeutically, to be honest. But there's, I mean, you know, it's a bumpy road, but I think in the long run, this is therapeutically good for him. Due to interactions with Saber and Rin and stuff. Especially Saber. Rin recently, but in general, especially Saber. And Archer. Archer's a big one, too. Dash, dash, dash. The fire. Fire! No way. Emiya-kun, is that? Oh, okay. That sounds like a genuine reaction. I don't feel like she would lie right now. Thanks, villains, for all the therapy. Well, that's right. Kirei gave me some good therapy, too. Kirei did force me to cross the line. So if Caster has me cross the line, too, then, you know, they would be the best therapeutics. Because Saber and Rin and Archer have all helped. But Kirei was the one who pushed me over the line in Timeline 1. So arguably he was the best for me. And if Grail is evil too, and Grail started all of this, the Grail as it were, then yeah, all the villains. Thanks for fixing it, villain. No way, Emiya-kun, is that? Okay, so yeah, she didn't know. That makes sense. I don't think she would have done her research in that regard, because again, she does tend to deal with things as they happen. She cares about Shiro, but doesn't necessarily care about the past before, I suppose. And she was unsure about why Kiritsugu didn't pass his crest to me, but I don't think they made it clear yet in Timeline 2 that you can't pass your crest with a blood relation. I think I only knew that because of Timeline 1, I believe.
そう。あなたにとって聖杯は憎むべき敵だった。
Yes, the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. Oh, I thought for sure she was finished. The Holy Grail is an enemy you have to detest. It's ironic that you've entered this war. It is ironic. It's kind of like the whole narrative thrust is ironic after all. You know, Kiritsugu would have wanted you so badly to stay the fuck away from the Grail. And, you know, you ended up stumbling into it. It's kind of a cycle thing in that sense. It's especially a cycle if Archer is you from the future past. Dash, 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 dash.
あなたの気持ちはわかるわ。誰だって不当に自身の幸福を奪われては恨まずにはいられない。
I understand how you feel. Everyone has to curse something if their happiness is taken away unreasonably. I think you're missing the point, Caster. I think saying this to him is interesting, and it might get him to think about some things, but I think you're missing the point because of how selfish of a person you are. It might be hard for you to comprehend someone who just hates themselves and how they think, because saying everyone has to curse something if their happiness is taken away is implying Shiro's happiness was taken away, and that he's mad that his happiness was taken away. That's not really what happened. He had accepted death and then lived anyway, after already accepting he was going to die, and after so many people sacrificed for himself. And he's still just, I think, innately the kind of person that worries about other people above himself. So after the fire happened, he hated himself for living in place of others. Yeah, Shiro curses himself, not the Grail. That's right, he does have to curse something. But I don't think it's his happiness taking away that's necessarily... It's the happiness of others, the lives of others being taken away, cause him to curse himself, as it were. The Grail by extension, for sure, but I feel like he himself is the primary source of cursing here.
ええ。私が気に入ったのはそういうエミやシローの過去よ。
What, you like it because it makes me interesting, it gives me character? Yes, I like the past you carry, Emiya Shiro. I just realized, for all the caster we've had so far in this playthrough, we do not know her real name. We knew Lancer was QQ Lane from the get-go. I have a suspicion I know who Archer is, wink wink. We don't know Rider, that's right, we don't know Rider, Caster, and Archer. We knew Lancer from the get-go, we know Assassin, oh, I guess we technically don't in this one, but we know he's Sasaki Kojiro! I remember that name, it's memorable. And we know Berserker is Hercules. We don't know many names. In this timeline, we almost know nobody. In this timeline, all we know is QQ Link. We don't actually know anyone else's name. That's crazy. But because of timeline 1, we know Berserker is Hercules. We know Assassin is Sasaki Kojiro. We know Saber is Artoria Arthur. So it's Archer, Rider, and Caster we don't know, which is interesting. Rider has to be revealed in timeline 3, I would assume. Unless they're pulling a long con, they really are the fucking same person. But Caster, I feel like, would be revealed in this timeline, given how much prominence they've given Caster. They haven't spent that much time thinking about who she is, but maybe that's going to come up, and, I don't know, maybe soon. I feel like it would happen in this timeline. Because of how much prominence they've given her, I don't think she's going to be randomly ousted in this timeline without learning, only for it to happen in timeline 3. I feel like Caster is going to be largely an afterthought in timeline 3, and timeline 2 is going to be the crux of the Caster, as it were. That's my assumption at the moment. Because Caster is just such a dominating presence, that if she's not an afterthought, then it's kind of hard for her to be a middle ground, as it were. Anyways, yes, I like the past you carry, Emiya Shiro. Dash, 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 dash.
あなたには復讐の資格がある。聖杯を手に入れて10年前の清算をする権利がある。だからあなたを仲間にしてあげてもいいと思った。
You are qualified to take revenge. You have the right to obtain the Holy Grail and to settle what happened 10 years ago. That's why I considered having you on my side. What, you think I have the right to take the Holy Grail to destroy it in my revenge? I mean... Yeah, you're definitely missing the point, Caster. You're missing the point because you don't understand. Kirei had a better grasp on Shiro's psyche. He misunderstood Shiro's ultimate answer and didn't expect what it would be, but Kirei had a much better grasp on Shiro's psyche than you do. Because you're so selfish, it's hard for you to understand selfless people and people that hate themselves, how they think, I would say. So you've got it all wrong, Caster. Even though you're saying some things that are going to cut to Shiro's core, you're misunderstanding, I think, the fundamentals. Kirei doesn't really have an ego. Yeah, there's that too. Kirei enjoys seeing suffering in general, but yeah. He doesn't necessarily feel like he deserves all of the things or whatever. He just enjoys seeing the suffering of people and thinks seeing people suffer is beautiful, as it were. Dash, dash, dash.
さあ、 考え直しなさい、坊や。
Now think again, boy.
私だって戦いを望んではいない。だって殺し合いなんて馬鹿らしいでしょ。聖杯に無限の富があるのなら、いくら分けてもそこは尽きないはず。
How Shiro answers this question will be very interesting. Now think again, boy. I don't want to fight. Battles are stupid, right? If the Holy Grail has infinite wealth, it should not run out no matter how much we split it. Shiro doesn't want any of it. You said yourself that he hates it. And I think that's the closest you've gotten to understanding Shiro's truth. He does hate it. I think he hates himself a bit more, but I think he hates the Grail because of that incident. And so he wouldn't want to use it for any wish. Or rather, the alternative is that he hates himself enough that he wouldn't want to use it for any wish because he doesn't think he deserves to use a wish. He doesn't deserve to have anything he wants be granted true. Someone else more worthy of getting things they want true should get that wish, just not someone who's a bad person. That's the alternative, I would say.
なら信用に足る者たちなら聖杯を共有してもいいのではなくて
Then can you not share the Holy Grail with those you trust? Okay, there's another problem too. Why the fuck would Shiro trust you? Dash dash. She's probably not telling a lie. I don't want to fight Bowser, stupid. Infinite wealth, it should run out. It should not run out no matter how much we split it. Given how evil Castor is, she could probably use the Grail to actually do her own ends, and not be too miffed if it ends up just being evil in general, even if she doesn't already know, because she is an evil person. So she would gladly sacrifice things she doesn't care for to get the gains, as it were, because it seems to be an equivalent exchange machine or something like that. I don't remember the full specifics, but it's kind of evil, and like, to do a good thing, you must do an equal bad thing, or something of the sort, I think was the idea. Like, the good things have to come from something. If I'm remembering correctly. Castor must seriously think so.
復讐なさい、エミヤシロ。
Take revenge, Emiyashiro. But against who? I mean, if I hate the Grail, using the Grail isn't really a way to take revenge. Even if I hate the person who caused it, Kiritsugu, which I don't, it's too late for that, he's gone. If the Grail is not evil, Shiro would share the Grail with Tosaka, for example. But yeah, Castor ain't trusted. Sure, yeah, Shiro would be like, if Shiro doesn't have a specific vendetta against the Grail, he would happily let Rin have the Grail, and, you know, if Rin wanted to let him use it, he'd be like, no, I couldn't. But if Rin's like, I insist, Shiro might be like, okay, I guess. Take revenge, Emiyashiro.
聖杯は私の手にあるも同然。あなたの願いを叶えてあげることぐらい造作もないわ。
The Holy Grail is practically in my hands already. It'll be easy to make your wish come true. After all this, after Shiro's denial, do we get a choice anyways? It'd be weird to get a choice after Shiro already chose for us, basically. And it shows that Castor's decent at negotiating. She's, after getting put on the back foot, she's decent at turning the situation around, pulling up cards, as it were, to try to get Shiro on her side. But she's pulling out the wrong cards and is missing understanding Shiro, I think. It'd be easy to make your wish come true. Unless you think the wish is once again going back in time and reversing things. Because that's not revenge. Revenge is the wrong word. If you were going through the same Kirei angle of go back in time and change everything, that'd be one thing, but that's not really revenge anyways. And if you did do that, then the answer would be obvious because we've had him answer the same way in Timeline 1. But I wish the Grail to be destroyed. Yeah, I mean, that might be the wish. Beyond that, yeah.
よまいごとだキャスター。サーバントが最後の一人になるまで聖杯は現れない。そのような名言で私のマスターを侮辱するな。
That is nonsense, Castor. The Holy Grail will not appear until there's only one servant left. Do not insult my master with such talk. I don't think that's necessarily true. I feel like the whole idea was that they tried to summon it, but it takes too many people to summon it, like 7 people, and they couldn't all agree, so they have to fight over who can summon it. And so the servant system was created because of that, if memory serves. And the Grail sort of does it itself because the Grail has its own little fancy. However, I feel like if it's just based on raw magical output, if Castor can prep for a long enough time, she probably could just straight up make the Grail herself without even needing to take out the other masters. I could see that being possible with my understanding of how the Grail works, if it just does need enough raw magical energy. The Grail might not be happy with that, but if Caster has a good enough understanding of how the Grail operates and isn't getting bamboozled by the Grail, then I would probably believe that she could do it without even taking out all the other masters and servants and stuff because of how magically strong she is. That begs the question of how much casters in previous wars have been able to cheat the system, because this caster seems to really be cheating the system. And with how good of a magus casters should be in theory, it's interesting the idea that maybe the system hasn't been cheated like this before. Maybe she really just is a rung above the rest because it goes in line with how Kuzuki is a rung above the rest. He is not a normal human. He is, you know, crazy strong, so he gets a crazy strong caster servant. I can see that. She can probably brute force it with using mana and souls from all the city. Yeah, using souls from all the city, she probably doesn't even need to take everyone out. And she might be able to use the Grail Wish to just take care of other servants she doesn't like Berserker or something. This is nonsense, Caster. The Holy Grail will not appear until there is only one servant left. Do not insult my master with such talk.
いいえ、戦わなくとも聖杯が手に入る方法はあるのよ、セイバー。他のサーバントには無理でも、キャスターである私には聖杯のからくりは読み取れる。
No, there are ways to obtain the Holy Grail without fighting, Saber. Even if it may be impossible for other servants, I, as caster, can see the trick of the Holy Grail. Mm-hmm.
そうね。膨大な魔力出力を誇るあなたが手を貸してくれるなら、今からでも聖杯を呼び出すことは可能でしょう。
Yes, if you, the one with enormous magical energy, the enormous magical energy output will help me. It should be possible to summon the Holy Grail right now. You? Me? Oh, me, Shiro. Because I'm doing the... Oh, because of Holrin's talk with me about how I'm using a bunch of energy from inside me, which shouldn't be normal. So you're saying you could use me to make the Grail instead of using Elia. Cool, bonus! Would that just be a second extra Grail, or would it yoink it from within Elia? How does this work? If you, the one with enormous magical energy output, will help me, it should be possible to summon the Holy Grail right now. What? I think she meant Saber. Oh, it creates a crack in Saber's resolve. I thought it meant Shiro, because he's the one with a lot of magic inside him. I guess Saber is the servant in the situation, but I thought her magic was cut off. I guess Caster can reactivate it, but is her magic output really that strong? Because of her Dragon Core, that just makes her super magically strong? Hadn't thought about it from that perspective, but okay. Well, it creates a crack in Saber's resolve, yeah, because we know how badly Saber wants the Grail. She fucking killed Shiro in the other timeline if you didn't like her enough, if she didn't like you enough. Imagine Shiro projecting the fucking Grail. Yeah, I could see it happening. He projects some crazy shit after all. It creates a crack in Saber's resolve. Oh shoot, how's she gonna react to this? We're gonna get her development early, and then maybe we can have a talk with her about how she's Arthur, and this could be therapeutic for everyone. Holy Grail, something of a sword itself. Not really. But he's done more than just swords. He shield birthed. He already birthed Avalon in his fight with Kirei, so he can birth more than just swords. Even if swords are his forte. Granted, Avalon is a sheath. It was a sheath, so I guess it's kind of a sword-ish, but it's swordish. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, it'd be interesting if this therapeutic session, after it's all over, if Saber was actually in her right state that she took to the end of the pathway in Timeline 1, it would be probably narratively satisfying. Because it took forever in Timeline 1, and here we can do it now, while there's still probably a decent amount of timeline left, and then see how she's like post getting over it for a larger percentage rather than just the very end. A cup is almost a sheath. It's a sheath for liquid instead of a sheath for a sword. Yep, makes sense. I like that logic. It creates a crack in Saber's resolve. It's because Saber feels that Caster is telling the truth. Oh yeah, and Saber wants that Grail because of her dirty, dirty wish.
さあ、 これが最後よ、坊や。
This is your final warning, boy. Oh, she's saying it as a warning. Not saying your final chance to join me, but your final warning before I kill Taiga. You can kill people with a cup. You can kill people with almost anything.
無益な戦いは避けたいのでしょう。なら私に従いなさい。セイバーを私に渡し、あなたが私に協力するというのなら、聖杯はあなたたちに預けるわ。
It's really similar to Kiro, this situation, the more further they go, because Kirei, after it didn't work on Shiro, turned to Saber. And so it's similar, where after talking to Shiro and being like, are you gonna cooperate with me? Then turns and's like, oh, Saber, no, I can do this. And then it gets to Saber a little bit. I don't think she's necessarily trying with Saber, it just kind of happened, but, the needless battle, yeah, because it'll let Taiga live. This is your final warning, boy. You want to avoid needless battles, right? Then obey me. I shall give you the Holy Grail if you give me Saber and cooperate with me. Yeah, it's a decent argument if she's telling the truth, but you can't really trust her. I mean, if Shiro can prevent the needless battles, that's exactly what he wants to prevent, and Castor doesn't necessarily do anything bad with the Grail, which would be a damn lie, then sure, it's a fine, you know, agreement, but you really can't trust it. So it depends on how much he's tunneling on saving Taiga. But I think he's confident enough and comfortable enough with his self right now, I think, though that's debatable, that he knows to, you know, that the worst evil would be giving in, and then, especially if she just has her way with Taiga anyway, or if Taiga lives, it's just in such a terrible situation that it doesn't matter. So he hopes Taiga doesn't die, but if she does, you know, I think Shiro's confident in that stance, though he could definitely be shaken. Or it could be misunderstanding his confidence. Or it's fake confidence, hoping it works out. That feeling you accidentally sit Twitch's scaling to default for a second and your eyes burn. Oh, no. Okay, so things are heating up. And you know what else is heating up? My bladder. This is going to be a quick turnaround for another break, but I do actually have to. Oh boy. Now do we get a choice? Now do we get a choice to be evil? Now do we get a choice to be evil? Question mark. It's the same image. Right then. This is your final warning, boy. You want to avoid needless battles, right? Then obey me. I shall give you the Holy Grail if you give me Saber and cooperate with me. The final negotiation. The final countdown. Ba-da-bow-bow. Saber is perplexed. It's because avoidable battles should be avoided, and it'll be best if the Holy Grail can be obtained that way. But, like, you know, she's evil still, right? Besides, the enemy has Taiga's life in her hands. Oh no, you're giving in, you're giving in! Avoidable battles. Is that really gonna sway you? Do you really think she's gonna not do evil things just because, you know, just because she doesn't have to win the Grail anymore? There's only one answer. Is that true? Even Tosaka is biting her lip as if she's given up. Are we going to be saved in the last minute? Or are we evil? Are we on the wrong route? Or what's happening here? Even Tosaka is biting her lip. Even Tosaka's given up. I guess because she's not really part of the conversation. It's all about what Shiro chooses at this point. And because Taiga's life in danger, it should be more up to Shiro at this point. If they, you know, attack or, you know, just say yes. Rin can't really say no when it's not, you know, it's someone Shiro likes that's on the line here. Oh. Wow. We do get a choice. Huh. And it's one word. Okay, part of me thinks this is a but thou must. Because I'm remembering back to the choice with Rin, where it was kind of the same regardless. And we just got interrupted. I assume we get interrupted either way. That might be just be for Rin points. I don't know. But, this choice seems like obviously, Shiro's given up enough that the player can choose. This to me seems like obviously if I obey, it's like a bad ending. I mean, there's the precedent with Elia where there's just a magical contract that might bind me as soon as I obey. Do it become evil? Sure, but unlike with Elia where I'm like, oh, I don't mind if like I'm controlled by my hot best waifu girlfriend. But refusing is interesting because if we refuse, you know, Taiga might die and we go crazy. However, Taiga might also get saved. Or maybe she won't, and she dies. But I feel like, just suck it up, because, I mean, okay, if I'm going to go in-universe, I wouldn't necessarily expect the magical binding contract unless I have knowledge from Timeline 1, and I would obey for now. That's still the mindset I would use. However, if Shelia has precedent from Timeline 1, if he has that somewhere in his brain, and I was in Shiro's shoes, and I had that in my mind, and then I'd be like, wait, I don't want to get tricked like I was there into a magical contract with someone evil. I'm going to refuse, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to refuse. Obey probably leads to a fun evil choice, and you know me, I'm going to go back and try to find all the bad endings when we beat the pathway anyway, and that sounds fun, but I don't want to walk into choices that I think are going to be bad endings on purpose, for the most part, so I'm going to refuse, and stick to my guns.
断る。お前の話には乗らない。
I refuse. I won't cooperate with you. I say so to the Magus without looking away. Music shift. Even Cast... I heard Rin's... even Rin is surprised. Possibly even Saber is surprised. It's all thanks to Archer. Because of his pep talk, I'm more confirmed in what is reality versus what is fantasy, maybe. 3 people gasp. All the girls? Caster, Saber, and Rin? Somehow even Taiga gasps. Nobody here expected me to reply like that. Are you mad? Do you understand the position you're in? The position he's in doesn't really matter. If you're gonna be allowed to do your evil things, there's no guaranteeing Taiga's safety anyways. Or any of my friends. I have no idea what she'll do in the future. If I stick to my guns and Taiga dies, oh well, but she might live. But if I go with you, then who knows how much bad shit will happen.
Ha. お前の言い分は分かった。確かに正しいことを言ってると思う。
Yeah, I get your point. I think you're saying the right thing. If battles can be avoided, they should be avoided. And if the Holy Grail can be shared, it should be shared. But, how are you going to respond to this, Shiro? But...
けど、人を無差別に襲っている魔女には協力しない。
But I won't help out a witch that's attacking people indiscriminately. Because he has no reason to think you'll do anything positive with the Grail once you get it.
お前の言い分は正しいけど、その手段は間違ってる。
You're right, but the method is wrong. More like I wouldn't trust that she wouldn't just turn around and, you know, betray what she's saying, is how I would put it, but sure.
それにもう一つ。俺は無理やり魔術師になったんじゃない。
Ooh.
自分から進んで親父の後を継いだんだ。
This comes back to the Rin talk. And one more thing. I wasn't forced to be a magus. I succeeded my father out of my own will. Even if he didn't find it fun, he did it to help people. And this is someone who he desperately wants to help.
それをお前にとやかく言われる筋合いはない。
You have no right to say anything about it. Ooh, and yet he was okay when Rin said something about it. I mean, that's fine, but, you know, at least that shows a certain amount of respect that Shiro considers it a personal thing, and he didn't get butthurt when Rin brought it up to him.
So, ならあなたはいらないわ。ここで消えてしまいなさい。
I see. Then I do not want you. You can die here. I will not die. You die. Shishinandan. Shinandan. Or whatever that was. Kure. Makaikaji. Captain Falcon! Castor's voice fills with intent to kill. We have Avalon? Oh, there's that too. You know, I mean, we could just Falcon Punch. Just do your Shiro Falcon Punch. I haven't watched that clip in a while. It's just so burned into my mind at this point. I barely watched that anime, but I've seen that clip so many times. Shiro seems to be full of will currently. Well, because I chose that choice, he's full of will. But yeah, I thought that he was full of will anyways before the choice happened. Surprised they even gave me the choice. Choosing that choice seems out of character based on how he acted before it. Castor's voice fills with intent to kill.
Kisama.
You? Ooh, Saber. Saber using Kisama. Down, Saber, down. Or rather, don't be... I mean, careful with Taiga, but down. At the same time, Saber gets ready to attack. And... Don't move, Saber! Oh, fuck. Wait, what? What are you sensing, Shiro? Or are you trying to make sure Taiga gets out of this alive? I stop her with all my might. Uh-oh!
Do
you have a plan, Shiro, or are you winging this? Please don't move, Saber. You too, Tosaka. We can't move right now. Do you have an understanding of what will cause Taiga to die, or are you just winging this? She'll be killed if any one of us moves. Okay. Do you still have aspirations of saving her? Because I think you will get lucky as fuck if she lives through this. Unless you have a plan. I'll lose the person that was with me until now. A person that's like an older sister to me. Yeah, your Nason, as it were. If Taiga is your... if Kiritsugu is your chosen father, then Taiga is your chosen sister. But Shiro, if there's a way out of this without Taiga dying, obviously go for it. But, Shiro, if you can figure that out, then good on you, because I'm not sure what it'll be beyond getting lucky and getting saved. Shiro has plans. They generally just show up in the moment, but he can think smart in the moment since the end of Timeline 1. Before that, he was pretty stupid, but in the moment, he can come up with smart ideas. But Shiro... You idiot, then why did you refuse? Because saying yes is a non-option. I think refusing is smart. How he goes forward is going to be hard, but he still, I think, needed to refuse there. No matter what. But the two stop. Ellipses. I take a step towards Castor as if to hide them. Oh, I thought you might be clueless, but I guess you do know the position you're in. Seeing Taiga like that, I think, has forced him to accept how things work, as it were. Castor smiles once again. Her arm. I just have to cut off her arm that's holding Taiga? Her left arm that was carrying Fujine points slowly at me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. How unfair. Are you gonna kill Shiro when he's not resisting? Of course not. I will not take his life. I'm just going to take his rights as a master. It seems you only have one more, but give me that command spell. Shiro being bait once again. The situation is a little different. In the past, Shiro would have gladly thrown himself into the bait position as often as possible. However, here, it kind of has to be him or no one, because he's the one Castor wants, but... You won't come to my side, but you want to save this woman. I personally wouldn't give her the command spell either, to be honest. I feel like she could do some tomfuckery at that point, but... You should have been prepared for this when you said that. Dash, dash, dash. Saber gasps. Ellipses. I apologize to Saber in my mind and take another step towards Caster. Are you actually planning to just hand over your command spell? You think all will be well if you do that? I think that's almost as naive as saying yes to Caster. I guess this is better, but not by much. Okay, so we're gonna get saved. That or this is a bad ending. If we're gonna get saved anyways, though. Because, I mean, if we obey, it's totally a bad ending. I feel like we have to get saved then, because there's no way we give up our command spell, unless the pathway ends super prematurely. But that would be very narratively unsatisfying with how much loose threads, like what's going on with Gilly and Shinji, is already going on. Alright, but how can I hand you the command spell? So does Archer save us? That's what I thought from the start, is that if anyone's going to save us, it's Archer, but... Alright, unless Shiro's playing the long game here, and he's outwardly saying this, but he actually has a plan to do something. Alright, but how can I hand you the command spell? The only other alternative is that Caster, like, takes the command spell, and then goes to kill someone anyway, like, haha, you thought I'd let her go? And then Shiro, in that moment, reacts and goes full magic attack and steals the command spell back. That's another option. That's the only other option outside of being saved I can see, is that she takes the thing, unless he has a plan from the start. If she takes the thing, though, if he's just letting himself, if he's just giving in, then I think the only option beyond being saved by some outside force is that she's like, haha, I'm gonna kill him anyway! And then he goes ballistic and takes the command spell back. Shiro betraying Saber as karma from last round. Alright, but how can I hand you the command spell? I don't know of a way to give it to someone. Shiro, no! Even if you do that, it...
そうね。邪魔が入らなければ移植はできるのだけど、ここでは望めそうにない。落ち着ける場所に移動しないと移植は無理でしょう。だから。
Let's see. I can transplant it if there is no intrusion, but I don't think I can wish for that here. Transplanting would be impossible unless we go to a better place, so... Oh, you're gonna say, come to the temple with me. If she succeeds in doing that, then she's just gonna be able to set up something to, like, mind control me anyway, I would assume. Oh, that's not what I thought you were going towards, but tear off your skin right here. Are you asking me to die? Or you have some magical stuff. I can transplant it if there is no intrusion, but I don't think I can wish for that here. Transplanting would be impossible unless we go to a better place. Oh, you're not suggesting we go to a better place. You're suggesting just fucking die for this woman. I see. Tear off your skin right here. Is Shiro willing to kill himself to save Taiga? Yeah, there's a chance. There's a real chance. You got healing, you'll be fine. I don't know if Caster knows about the extent of Shiro's healing, but, dash. The Black Witch says so with a smile. That is it.
Shiro, Taigaのことは諦めてください。これ以上キャスターの思い通りにはさせられない。
Shiro, please give up on Taiga. I cannot let Caster do as she wishes. Saber, if you're trying to convince Shiro, don't do it by saying to give up on Taiga. Take any other approach. She is not going to give up on Taiga. At least, not if that's the first statement you have to make, is give up on Taiga. You know, maybe if you can come around to, you might be forced to give up on Taiga, but if you start with that, he's just going to ignore everything else you say. Maybe his entire arm. I suppose if he only tears off his arm and doesn't die, then that's better than nothing.
私も同意見よ。だいたいあいつが人質を解放する玉かっていうの。一度言いなりになったら最後まで利用されるだけよ。
I feel the same way. First of all, she's not one to release a hostage. She'll use you until the very end if you obey her. I agree, I 100% agree. That's why I thought there's no way Taiga gets out of this alive. If you obey her, she'll ask you for something else, and you'll have to obey again, never-endingly. It's the entire reason to not obey and go along with the Grail War wish. The fact that you ignored the Grail War wish, and yet still decided to act this way, shows his amount of self-hatred, I suppose, and short-sightedness, and just thinks, if I can... This is him doing the goal. This is him doing his... This is his perfect scenario. He can save Taiga and die doing it, and then just let himself die happy. This is his way for making up for the fun he had today, but didn't deserve. He finally gets a chance to do his disgusting wish. He gets to, let himself die, and then save Taiga. In theory, that's a fantasy. Caster could still just end up killing Taiga anyway, but Shiro is trying to force himself to believe in the fantasy, I suppose. Which means this is definitely not the ideal outcome. Unless Shiro snaps out of it, we need to be rescued. And for Taiga to be saved, I feel like we doubly need to be rescued unless Shiro can really think of something smart on the spot. First of all, she's not one to release a hostage. She'll use you until the very end if you obey her. Dash, dash, dash. The two have a point. Are you going to care if they have a point? So I can only apologize to them in my head. Yep, she doesn't care. He's giving in. He's not going to cooperate with her and let her do her evil things, but he's trying to have his cake and fuck it too, and that doesn't work. You're just thinking, oh, I can't work with her to let her get the Grail, but she might get the Grail anyways after I'm dead, after I sacrifice myself for Taiga. His wish is coming true. His evil, dumb wish is coming true. Take it. This is good, right? I raise my left arm. Sorry, Rin, you were too slow. If anything, the fact that this happened because of the fun just makes it the worst timing possible. Yep, that's what Kirisuga said. You can't save everyone. He's trying to save everyone. He tried to save all the random innocents Caster might have, you know, attacked with the Grail. And now he's also trying to save Taiga. The one person he's letting himself die in theory is himself. But, like, in the long run, Caster will just kill more people. So, this is not an ideal solution. There's a difference between sacrificing yourself because there's no other way to save everyone else, and sacrificing yourself to make yourself feel better. I raise my left arm. Caster should be able to cut off my flesh along with the command spell with one word.
Shiro, ダメだ.
No, Shiro!
なんだってのよあんたは。そこまでして他人を助ける必要はないでしょ。
What's wrong with you? There's no need to go that far to save someone else. There's every need. Rin, you have issues, but you do not have the same kind of issues Shiro has. Shiro needs? No. Rather, he shouldn't have them. He doesn't want them. Or rather, he wants them. But he shouldn't want them. Anyways. There's no need to go that far to save someone else. There is. If I can save Fujine just with this, I don't even need to think about it. If it really was just with this, sure. Like, you know, pulling a Shanks is one thing. Give up your arm to save someone you care about? Sure. But that's a very different situation to this. Caster still has Taiga. She still holds the card. She can take your arm and then ask for, please, sir, may I have another? And you can't say no. You can never say no. It's so sad how calm Shiro sounds doing this. His wish is coming true. In theory. It's a fantasy. It's not a real wish. Because, you know, if it was a real wish, then Caster wouldn't hold all the cards. But she is. I don't even need to think about it. I point my left arm at Caster. Okay, who saves us? Is this a bad ending? Or is someone going to save us? Shiro's clearly not going to save himself.
いいわ。こちらに来なさい、エミヤシロ。
Alright, come here, Emiya Shiro.
何を企んでいるかは知らないけど、どんな奇襲より私の指の方が早いのだから。
I don't know what you're intending, but my finger is faster than any of your surprise attacks. Shiro is not intending a surprise attack. I can see why Caster thinks that, because she is just selfishly inclined, but I'm pretty sure he's just giving in and being like, this is my superhero moment, and then if I die afterwards, great. If Taiga lives somehow, great. If she doesn't, whatever. But like, Caster still must not trust me, as she puts some distance between us. Ellipses. I walk to her. Caster's right in front of me, and the other two are far away from me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I walk to the place where I won't be able to get away, and hold out my arm. And she's laughing that you're actually doing it. She was waiting for you to do some kind of plan, and you're not doing anything and letting it happen. Yep, someone as selfish as Caster, it's going to be hard to understand that, hard to comprehend that. The Black Witch watches me in astonishment. Yep.
驚いたわ。大した善人ね、坊や。いいわ。あなたの誠意に免じて、この女は返してあげる。
Interesting. You're actually going to give her back because you find it that amusing. I guess you're lucky that she's not a no-nonsense villain, as it were. She is a very evil villain, but she can find joy in things, as it were, which gives you an opening. I'm surprised. You really are a good person. Fine. I should give you back this woman in deference to your good faith. If this is the opening, and this gives us the opening, then you're fucking lucky, Shiro. You're lucky that she's not a no-nonsense villain. Her robe flutters. She did say she liked Shiro's backstory. That's true. Oh. Caster keeps a hold of Fujine with her left hand and takes out a strange dagger with her right. Ah, yes, this dagger. This is the dagger she tried to, I think, body swap with Saber in Timeline 1. I think she tried to use it for that or something like that. It was never made fully clear, but in the bad ending, she 100% body swapped with Saber or something, because her presence disappeared and only Saber's remained. So something like that happened in that bad ending. So that knife, I think, is her noble phantasm to some degree.
お笑い草ね。これなら手間をかける必要もなかった。
This is amazing. I didn't need to go through so much trouble if it was going to be like this. Oh, are you going to use that to mind control me? Let me guess. She's not actually going to cut off my command spell arm. She's going to mind control me because she still wants to dissect me and all that. There's no reason for her to go along with what Shiro's asking and just take the command spell. Because that dagger is, to my understanding, a mind control dagger. I don't see why she wouldn't just use it to mind control Shiro, especially based on what she's saying right now. I didn't need to go through so much trouble if it was going to be like this. If our goal is to get Shiro on her side, then she wouldn't be like, oh wow, it was so easy, if she was settling. If she was really just settling and taking his command spell. Because that's what it would be if that's what she was doing.
本当にバカな子。目障りだから、あなたみたいなお人よしは死んでしまいなさい。
Are you actually killing me? You really are a stupid boy. You're annoying, so a soft-hearted person like you should die. Okay. Based on what you're saying, I thought you were actually just gonna mind control me, but I guess you're killing me? Alright, so how do we get saved? How do we get saved? I feel like this is so prolonged, I don't see this being a bad ending. A soft-hearted person like you should die. She swings her dagger. Do we actually lose our arm? We could lose our arm and continue on. It goes not for my arm, but my heart! Oh, fuck! And... maybe I'm going to mentally die. Maybe she is going to mind control me, but she'll be killing my heart or my brain or something. Maybe that's the idea.
Caster!
She explodes. Saber? I see. Saber charges him with such speed that I thought she exploded. No way Saber, who Caster had an eye on the whole time, jumps in and stops this from happening. That is so narratively boring. The speed must have been faster than Caster expected as her daggers repelled. Okay, now what? Caster retreats and Saber follows her. She must have figured out that she can't get away.
So, Nara.
I see, then... Okay. It seems like she's gonna get cut off again before she kills Taiga. It seems like that's where this is going, but that is so narratively boring. That Saber, who cast her, should be paying attention to the whole time. Just stops this from happening after Shiro got super close. And then in an instant, Saber rushes at, and then Caster doesn't have a chance to do it. It's just like, theoretically, this could have happened at any time. And then what you're saying is that, oh, even when they're this close, and Caster's being very careful, it's still, they just stop it like that. It seems like she's going to be cut off again before she kills Taiga, but I don't think Saber can stop that, but it's still like, is Saber really that fast compared to what Caster's doing? Because that's, oh boy. I see. Then, smiling happily, Caster puts power into her right hand, and something stops her from killing Taiga. Archer? Rin? Just do it, Rin, too. Go full circle. Have it be Rin and Saber, who she was watching both the whole time, stop her somehow after all of this. Oh, there's that too. Okay, fine. No, stop, Saber! Oh! Did he use it? Oh, fuck! Oh, that's bad! I pray from the bottom of my heart and reach out. No way! What? What? Oh! I reach out with my left arm and use my command spell? My last command? Oh! Is Saber done? Is Saber done in the route? Does he get more spells? What? Do we just continue on without Saber? That would be so crazy. When we continued on without Archer in Timeline 1, I was really surprised, but that's because I didn't fully have a grasp of the kind of structure this narrative would have. But this is surprising because I feel like Saber is just an important character. To answer your question, Vaneem, this is extremely interesting. However, what led up to it I still think is slightly boring and doesn't have the best setup. But what it led to is interesting, though I think they could have led to this without having it, that thing that made me think for a second that it's boring. Anyways. That second of being bored is a second I'll never get back. I pray from the bottom of my heart and reach out with my left arm. What? You used your command spell? Saber stops. Her movements are stopped by the absolute obedience enforced by the command spell. There. Oh! The dagger is stabbed as easily as making footprints in snow. Oh! Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's interesting. Whoa, is this a bad ending? Please say no. This is so interesting if we continue. Oh. Oh. Do we just have Saber have an unhappy ending? Saber never fully resolves what her wish was and she just dies? Or gets controlled or something? Because that's like the mind control dagger, to my understanding. Can we unmind control her? Is there a secret to her thing that we can exploit? Even if there is, at the moment, Shiro has no command spells. Okay, that's really interesting. I get the setup. I get the idea of she stabbed it at Shiro and... Sorry. The setup of she stabbed it at Shiro, Saber stops it, but then Shiro's really against it, and Saber went against Shiro's orders of staying back, and as a result, she used the command spell, and then she got taken out by Caster. The through line is there, but I still felt like there was, there's a little, I think there's an issue there, and I don't know exactly how they could fix it. I like it, I just feel like there's an imperfection in there. And I'm not sure how they'd fix it, because I do like the end result. But anyways, the dagger is stabbed as easily as making footprints in snow. What? It feels like time has stopped. Saber is looking down at her chest in blank amazement. Oh my gosh, if... It's funny because I'm thinking about Blind Wave, because when I finish this novel, I'm sure I'm going to end up watching Blind Wave's reactions, because I like Blind Wave to stuff like Fate Zero, and I know they're doing Unlimited Blade Works now. It's the idea that they just have... The idea... That's what makes it so crazy in my mind. I don't know how they would adapt it in the anime, but the idea that if the anime is just trying to be rather faithful to whatever pathway they're on, in this case, Unlimited Blade Works, the idea that after Fate Zero and Saber, not getting to fulfill her wish or whatever, if the follow-up is Unlimited Blade Works, if you're going anime route, and if they're faithful, and if Saber is just getting ousted from the narrative at this point, it would be so dark. I know that she's already had something of a fulfillment in Timeline 1, and we're probably going to do more with her in Timeline 3. So if this is ousting her, I believe it, which means if it's not, then hey, they'll successfully have bamboozled me. But if you're watching it just from the anime perspective, that would be so fucking dark. For Saber, like, Anyways, Saber is looking down at her chest in blank amazement.
キャスター貴様
Caster, you...
そう、これが私の宝具よ、セイバー。何の殺傷能力もない。儀礼用の鍵に過ぎない。
Yes, this is my noble phantasm, Saber. It has no attack power and is only a key used for rituals. So was she going to steal my body? Was she planning to steal my body because I do have an interesting body? She might have tried to go from... I don't know. I don't know if it's a body swap exactly. That was the implication in Timeline 1 because Caster's essence disappeared and only Saber's was left. The implication is a body swap tool. But it could be that, I don't know, she bamfed away. I don't know. The implication was she didn't have a chance to bamf away. So, I feel like it's a body swap. So, it's interesting if she was actually planning to body swap with Shiro or not. Because Shiro, I don't think necessarily has a strong enough body in theory. Unless Caster knows more about Shiro than she's letting on. Because I think he does have a strong body. But I don't know that Caster would know that. Anyways, it has no attack powers and only a key used for rituals.
けれど、これはね、あらゆる契約を覆す裏切りの刃。あなたもこれで私と同じ。
But this is a blade of betrayal that overturns any contract. You are like me now. Wait, you're like me? A blade of betrayal that overturns any contract. So, mind control dagger is where my mind went for a long time, but I was thinking body swap, to be honest. If it just overturns the contract and mind controls her, then Caster's still around? Okay, the Timeline 1, I might have to reread that then, because I thought there was a strong implication that it was a body swap. But, or body steal, rather. You're like me now. What do you mean you're like me? As in, you're basically a second person of Caster? Or as in, like, your personality gets stolen by Caster? Or as in, you yourself were stolen, mind control at some point in the past? Is that what you mean by like me? Huh. The way she worded that is interesting.
主を裏切り、その剣を私に預けなさい。
Betray your master and entrust your sword to me. You're like me now. You're like me as in you betrayed your master in the past? Or as in you're one who betrays your master? Have you already betrayed Kozuki? Did you already just kill him? I mean, that would feel so weird in this timeline now that we've set up Kozuki and his shit. But betray your master and entrust your sword to me. Dash, dash, dash. Is there a way to cheat around this and Saber gets to keep living? I guess. Because of Caster's energy, she shouldn't need Shiro's energy flow, even if Shiro has no command spell. So it's possible we get Saber back on our side, but later on, it probably wouldn't happen right now. We probably have to run away like a bunch of cowards. And maybe we can get Saber back later, but how does that even work when we have no command spells? Do we get her back and then she just pieces out? Or Or does Shiro somehow take command spells from someone else if he gets really aggravated as a result of this? Like, he might steal Shinji's command spells. If we, depending on the order we do this in, it's possible we end up stealing Shinji's command spells. I think Shiro might be willing to do that if he gets a chance to do that to save Saber after getting her back. Because if he just gets her back and immediately, she has to peace out because he has no spells. But, I guess he could steal Kazuki's command spells. That's the other option. I just don't see him... I don't know. I guess in my mind, I don't see Shiro defeating Kazuki before he defeats Saber, if that makes sense. I guess he could and steal his spells. Caster wouldn't mind, I suppose. I don't think she cares about Kazuki. In my mind, though, I think there's a more interesting through line if we fight Shinji first and then go over the edge and do something bad to Shinji. Shinji deserves to have something bad done to him, after all. Kazuki is more neutral. I'm the protagonist now, says Caster. Yeah. Oh, boy. This is interesting. No matter what, I think this is a big turning point. And also, I have to pee again. It's a good time for my lunch break. Oh, Saber evil? Okay. So I guess there is theoretically a way to cheat and get Saber back. Because as long as we hold off... Because Caster will be supplying her with energy for a while. But, Oh, that's an option if Archer wants to give himself up to get Saber back. I suppose... Logically, I could see it, but narratively, I think that's sub-interesting unless they fully reveal the twist that Archer is Shiro, and then they just let Archer, give himself up because Shiro is just Archer at that point, which they might do. This is dramatic enough that they might go there. But anyways, intermission. So, betray your master and trust your sword to me. Okay, so... Oh, yeah. So, back into the whole Caster taking over Saber thing. I suppose this is something that could have been seen coming. And to an extent, I think I said something like this might happen in the past. Because we see in a bad ending... I know I said something along these lines. In the bad ending in Timeline 1, that Caster takes over Saber. But they wouldn't have that just for a bad ending. She would do something with that mind control tech in a normal route. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean she would use it on Saber. She might use it on someone else. But using it on Saber, I guess, is the most direct approach. That is the one she wanted to use it on all along. All right. Interesting. Intrigue. And now we run like cowards? So we save Taiga but lose Saber? And it's going to force Shiro to ponder how to move forward. He's really going to have to be asking himself some hard questions. Because he was certainly friends with Saber, even if, he didn't love her in this timeline. Alright, dash, dash. Red light erupts. Magical energy flows out like tumbling water. Magical energy like tumbling water. Oh, hey, it's the faucet analogy again, right? The good old, magic is like water. It spreads through Saber's body, destroys every rule controlling her, and... Oh, boy. The connection between Saber and me is completely cut. I mean, that was going to happen anyway, because you used your last command spell. You can't save everyone. That's a good question. Is Shiro actually going to take away that he can't save everyone? Or is he going to still try to save Saber? And if he does, will he at any point feel like he has to sacrifice something else to save her? Is he going to come to a cynical answer? Or is he going to decide, even if I can't always, I should still try to save everyone whenever I can? The connection between Saber and me is completely cut. Oh, something else I thought of, actually, while I was cooking my hot dogs. was Archer. The idea of what happens with him in Timeline 3. If we do have a fully realized plot twist of Shiro being Archer from the future past, and if it fully realizes in this timeline, which I think it's building up to, then yes, maybe there is a possibility of Shiro just taking out Archer immediately in Timeline 3. The reason being that he's a future Shiro that Shiro rejects. That is from a future where Shiro goes down a bad path, and maybe, like, Shiro is taking him out of his misery, so to speak, by taking out Archer. So that could happen, maybe. Healthy answer is the last one. I'll try to say everyone, even if that is not feasible nor realistic at all. Saber crumples onto the floor. There's a mark like a bruise on her forehead. And now we're going to have to work with Archer for the crux of our fighting through the rest of the narrative. We've already had Archer for most of our fighting through the first part of the narrative. So, yeah, this is probably going to be... I think this will be both Caster's coup de grace and Archer's coup de grace. I think both of them will be major players throughout the rest of this, but might be regarded as largely irrelevant in the next timeline. That's the point of ideals, right? They're fantasies, but that's the whole point. They're perfect versions that people try to recreate. A moral guide to follow. Don't crumple, Saber. There's a mark like a bruise on her forehead. I see 3 marks appearing on Caster. 3 marks? What? So she just get 3 command spells from nothing? She got something from nothing. I didn't have 3 command spells to give her. I had none. And yet Caster gets 3 command spells now for Saber? Where do those fucking come from? How does she get 3 new spells from nothing? Is that based on her... Okay, that's a good question. Is that based on her Noble Phantasm? And if so, is it tied to her Noble Phantasm? Like, for example, if we beat Caster, can we steal those back? Or is it like, no, they're hers only because it's her Noble Phantasm? I see 3 marks appearing on Caster. The command spell to control the servants. I think she's already controlled at this point. The spells probably only exist to do enhancer powers, I would assume. What used to be on me, the proof of being Saber's master, is on her arm now. I mean, you already used yours up, so I don't think it's the same thing. I mean, unless they would have transferred from you to her. Unless they would have transferred from you to her had she done this while you still had some. But the implication to me right now is she's getting 3 from nothing. Because you didn't have any left. You used all yours up. Is on her arm now. What?
驚いたかしら？これが私の宝具。ルールブレイカー。
What a name. Are you surprised? This is my noble phantasm, Rule Breaker.
この世界にかけられたあらゆる魔術を無効化する裏切りと否定の剣。
It's a sword of betrayal and negotiation which nullifies any magic in this world. We have taken so long and still not really gotten back to Lancer. He took forever to show up again in Timeline 1. He still takes forever in Timeline 2. Despite being the first real servant you see, okay, except for Archer. But, I mean, Archer is just Shiro, right? So, haha. Except for, he ends up disappearing for so much of the narrative. So far, both times. I wonder if he'll... What? We're not dropping frames. What are you talking about? Why are you guys saying fuck and stop? Did I miss something? I'm not seeing any drop frames here. Anyways, let me know if I'm misunderstanding something and they were drop frames. Right, what was I saying? Fuck. I lost my train of thought. I was saying that, oh, there was a spoiler. Okay, I understand. I never saw it, so I guess Wiseful did his job and blocked it. Okay, cool. Anyways, you see, when I see people going fuck and stop in the chat, I assume that my frames dropped. But they're fine. So, what was I saying? Oh no. I've been defeated by a derailed train of thought. Sword of betrayal and negotiation, which nullifies any magic in this world. Oh no, I think it's just gone. What was I thinking? I was going somewhere with some train of thought. It's dead. Where was I going? What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Oh no! I think we just have to move on. I don't remember what I was talking about. I hate doing that. When I'm normally doing a Let's Play, I am on a train of thought, and then I forget what I'm talking about, if I don't remember and I catch it in editing, I usually just cut that part out. Because I usually edit long after I record, so I don't have a chance to put it in or anything. But in this case, I was talking about something, and I have no idea what I was talking about now. I completely forgot. Let's move on. This is my noble phantasm, Rule Breaker. It's a sword of betrayal and negation, which nullifies any magic in this world. Saber is moaning on the floor. Fuck, what was I talking about? I don't remember. Nope, I just don't remember. Dang it, this is annoying me. Right, Archer. No, yes. Yes, Lancer. That's what I was saying. That's all it was. I was just saying, oh, it's so sad that Lancer is like the first servant, and yet we don't see him for forever in both timelines. Maybe in Timeline 3 we'll get more Lancer. But what's more important than more Lancer is more Ayako and more Elia. Especially more Ayako. I like Elia more, but we've gotten a decent amount of her. So more Ayako. So, Saber's moaning on the floor. As if fighting against a poison that entered her.
あんた、サーバントのくせにサーバント。
You, a servant is taking a servant? Why are you that surprised? Didn't Archer tell you about Assassin's situation?
ええ、使い魔にしたのよ、お嬢さん。これで計画通り。
Yes, I made her into my familiar. Now everything is as planned. That magic resistance A trying its best. Not good enough against the noble phantasm.
エミやシロはマスターではなくなり、セイバーは私のものになった。
Emiya Shiro isn't a master anymore, and Saber is mine. I mean, I guess, but that is something I'm curious about. Would I have lost my spells anyway? I don't remember, actually. There was a bad the bad ending where Saber kills us, basically. The other one. The one where because there's one where she kills us, but because she's being mind controlled, she just gives in to Kirei. But there was another one where Castor mind controlled her and seemed to kill us in that bad ending. Now I'm trying to think if Shiro lost his command spells there too. I don't remember. It's just interesting because it seems to set her from base value. If it is taking command spells away from me, demasterifying me, then she's still getting command spells from nothing, basically, because I already had none in the first place. Castor didn't want Shiro as a master. Shiro might have become a familiar too, and then by extension, maybe Saber would have turned into a familiar anyway? I don't know. Yes, I made her into my familiar. Now everything is as planned. Emiya Shiro isn't a master anymore, and Saber is mine. Everything is as planned. I mean, I think taking Saber, yeah, was the plan. I think that was her biggest plan anyway. But, I think that was her biggest plan, for sure. However, I do think she was genuinely interested in Shiro as well. So I feel like it's like, she wanted Shiro, and this was like a side thing for her. But because it let her get Castor anyway, she rolled with it. The biggest question... why did Castor not do this from the beginning? He's saying how all the talk about chopping limbs. She talks all about what her noble phantasm does. Might as well just start with that. I mean, she wouldn't want to give away what her phantasm does. And yeah, I do think she was interested in Shiro. But, this does raise the question of if she's able to do this to Saber, why didn't she try doing this before? Because I theorized that she had to build up energy to do this. And maybe she did anyways. Yeah. I theorized that she had to build up energy to do this in Timeline 1. And that's why she waited till towards the end of the timeline to confront us. But this is suggesting it's just the thing she does and she could do it whenever. Maybe she already spent some time building up. But it is interesting. If she wanted to do this on Saber all along, it suggests that either it takes way too much energy or she can only do it once. If she can only do it once, then maybe she was just saving it for Saber and she had to be very careful. If it just takes a lot of energy, then I guess that's fine too. But Caster just asked for spells. I feel like Caster asking for spells was a bluff. I don't think she was ever going to take the spells. I think she was planning to mind control Shiro, is my understanding, and then mind control Saber by proxy. Because she didn't go to cut off his hand, she went straight for Shiro's heart. But everything is as planned. Emiya Shiro isn't the master anymore, and Saber is mine.
この娘さえ手中に収めてしまえば恐れるものは何もない。そうよ。あのバーサーカーが私を襲おうと関係ない。
This time?
今度は私から攻め入ってあげましょう。
There is nothing to fear now that I have her. It does not matter even if Berserker attacks me. I shall go attack them this time. This suggests Ilya already attacked you in the past. I wonder when she did. Was it towards the very beginning, maybe? I know Berserker was one of the first, if not the first, servant summoned. I don't remember exactly when Caster was. But, maybe, yeah, maybe after she was attacked by Berserker, that's when she summoned Assassin to ward off everything and to give a distraction so she could prep something if Berserker comes near, maybe. Saber with her Dragon Core being active is a big threat. Sure. Caster might have a chance against Gil now. I mean, the Caster knows how to fully utilize Saber. If she's able, she doesn't have Avalon, but and Saber needed Avalon to quite beat Gilly, but that was one-on-one. So if it's Caster plus Saber, they might be able to beat Gilly, possibly. I shall go attack them. I shall go attack them this time. Caster laughs and picks up Fujine. Oh, and you're just taking her with you? Because that would defeat the entire purpose of this sacrifice.
ほら、返してあげるわ、
Oh.
バカさん。大事な人なんでしょ
Okay.
なら死んでしまわないように、最後まで頑張らないとダメよ。
It's good that she's a villain who's willing to play with her food. Otherwise, this could have turned out much worse for us. There's no reason she has to give Taiga back right now. I guess the only reason is to convince Shiro that yes, she keeps her word. Which means maybe in future, if she makes another bargain like this, Shiro can trust that she'll keep her word. But like, that's so, I don't know, at that point, it's like, it seems to me like that could be it, but it's more likely she's just playing with her food. I'll give her back to you. She's important to you, right? Then you have to do your best so she won't die. Fujine's body floats up. She goes through the air as if being pulled by an invisible arm.
Who's that?
I catch her at once.
Who's that? 大丈夫か? Who's that?
I thought we were going to have to run away. I was assuming something like Archer might show up, but he's too late. And we have to run away, but it seems like she's just gonna leave. Interesting. She's playing with her food, and that's why we get to live? She has Saber. She doesn't care about us anymore. She doesn't consider us real threats. And she's, as a compliment to Shiro, and that she, you know, finds Shiro interesting, she's just gonna let them live and leave? I guess. It makes sense with her, you know, ego and all that. I assumed we'd have to run away, though. Fujine, are you alright, Fujine? There's no reply. But her body is warm. Fujine is unconscious, but she's still breathing and is unwounded. Dash, dash, dash. I sigh with relief. You're more relieved about that? Your relief for this outweighs your anger at what's happening with Saber? Or your regret?
満足したかしら。約束だものね。その娘は助けてあげる。それに、そうね。あなたも見逃してあげましょう。
Are you happy now? I shall spare the woman since I promised you. And yes, I shall let you go as well. How generous.
先ほどの見せ物、頭にくるぐらい素敵だったから。
Your previous action was so wonderful that it made me angry. I mean, to be fair, it was Shiro using the command spell to stop Saber that gave Caster that chance, so, yeah.
けれど。
But, don't make her angry again.
そう。まあ、そういう流れになるわよね。
I see. Well, I knew it was going to be like this. Yeah, I mean, when we went into this circumstance, there's not much saving Taiga without sacrificing someone or something else. And the something was sacrificed. We're lucky that she doesn't just continue to use Taiga for all she's worth, like Rin and Saber suggested.
ええ、戯れはここまでよ、お嬢さん。
Yes, the fun's over, little lady.
さあ、セイバー。
Oh!
アーチャーのマスターを仕留めなさい。
Oh! Oh, no, that's not what I thought was happening here. Oh! Oh, I thought it was, I'll let you both go. No, okay, she's not that nice. Oh, no. Oh, no, Shiro. Shiro, don't stand there like an idiot. Do something. Okay, so you were going to let Shiro live. You had no intention to let Rin live. Oh, boy. So I guess we sword birth and fight Saber. Hey, Shiro might finally get to beat Saber, something he tried and failed horribly to do in Timeline 1. I see. Okay, let me reread this now with the mindset that that's what's going on. I was like, I'll let you both go, is I thought where her mind was. She was being nice. She's not being that nice. I shall spare this woman since I promised you, and yes, I shall let you go as well. But... oh, that's what the but was. I thought the but was, but if you do it, cross me again. I see. Well, I knew it was going to be like this. Yes, the fun's over, little lady. Saber, kill Archer's master.
邪魔をするようなら、あなたのマスターだった子も殺していいわ。
If he gets in the way, you can kill your previous master as well. You're gonna have to get in the way, Shiro. I mean, I know you care about Taiga, but Taiga's already settled. I don't know. Don't kill yourself. Ah! There's a new hostage. There's a new damsel to save. Can't save everyone. Well, this is what trying to save someone gets you. Ridiculous. Who would obey you? Okay, so I'm guessing it is just based on the amount of energy she stored up. In Timeline 1, I suppose she stored up enough to do just an instant switch. Because when Saber came at us, there was no, Saber, what's going on? And then it was just like, you know, it was no like, I'm so sorry, Shiro. It was just a, die, you idiot, kind of move. So the fact that she's resisting, I think, suggests it is based on magical energy, and she did it when her magical energy wasn't maybe charged as much as it needed to, as much as it was in Timeline 1. So, maybe that's why Saber's able to resist at least a little. Saber glares at Caster while on her knees.
いいえ、従うのよ、セイバー。あなたはもう私のもの。この霊樹がある限り、身も心も私には逆らえない。
No, you obey me, Saber. You're mine now. You cannot disobey me as long as I have the command spells. Saber's voice fills up with pain. But on the other hand, Saber's body slowly gets up against her will. Yeah, she didn't look like she was in much pain when she shanked me in the other bad ending from Timeline 1. Saber's body moves. She charges at Tosaka with the same speed as before. Oh boy, hey, it's like earlier in the pathway, both of them, when she was gonna kill Rin, and then Shiro had to use the command spell. Well, actually, he only used the command spell in Timeline 2. In Timeline 1, you know, Archer got in the way, and then he said stop. But anyway, actually, no, it wasn't Archer got in the way. Archer was in the way first, and then she was going to kill Rin too, and then Shiro said stop verbally without a spell. Anyways, and I don't believe it. This is the Rin timeline. I don't believe it. What? Wait, what? She thrusts her sword. Wait, what? This is the Rin timeline? Wait a second. Are we in a bad ending? Oh, Shiro got in the way. Okay, makes sense, right? Of course. I feel a dull pain on my shoulder. I feel the steel stabbed in my shoulder. The sword that should be invisible is outlined in my blood. You idiot, why? Of course he would do this. Always trying to save everyone. He saved Taiga, now he's got to save you. And then eventually he's going to have to save Saber too, right? I mean, Shiro pulls a classic Shiro, indeed. I hear Tosaka's voice from behind me. But I can't do anything, no matter what she says. It's just that my body moved on its own, and most of all, I didn't want to see Saber attack Tosaka. I didn't want to see it, so I just placed myself in between them. My body twitches. Saber's sword hasn't stopped yet. It rips into my flesh and grates against my collarbone. Oh boy. Are we gonna have a Super Saiyan power up here, or do we need to be saved? Or are we in a bad ending? I don't think it's a bad ending. This is too interesting to be a bad ending. We have Kirei's theme. Is this Kirei's theme? Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know if I thought of this as Kirei's theme in the past, but yeah, the church theme. I think this is the church theme, if anything. Makes sense, I'd say. Does it? Inevitability? Kirei was the one who was like, it's inevitable, you have to blah 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 blah. And now we finally have to hooby-dooby-doo. The sword will eventually cut the arteries in my neck and kill me. It's okay, you can just turn all of your body into blades, and then the blades can't be cut by her blade. I mean, they probably could be, but they'll be strong enough to repel. That's not good. I'm still holding on to Fujine. Oh, you're holding on to Fujine when you got in the way? I assumed you would have let her down, but never gonna let you down, never gonna give you up. You just held on to her when you got stabbed. Wow. The instinct to protect. To not even drop Fuji to protect Rin, but to protect everyone and keep Fuji, you know, in your grasp as you protect Rin. Really a fantasy. I'm still holding on to Fujine. And Tosaka's behind me as well.
残念。もったいないわね。その子には興味があったのだけれど。
That's too bad. How wasteful. I was interested in him, but... Far away. Castor's saying something.
霊樹に従いなさい、セイバー。そのままもろとも切り落とせば、二人減るわ。
Follow the command spell, Saber. Just slash them both. A cold-hearted order. It sounds as if opposing it. Sounds? Ooh, Saber opposing it, I see. Saber's arm shakes and stops.
バカな。セイバーの大魔力は霊樹の縛りにさえ抗うというの。
No way! Saber's magic resistance even opposes the binding of the command spell? Not forever it doesn't. We need to run. I assumed something would save us. I didn't think it would be Saber, but yeah, she's really resisting it in this timeline. I guess Castor really just didn't build up enough or something. Because in Timeline 1, it didn't seem like there was any resistance when Saber shanked us. Yeah, run, go, now! We're probably not going to get this delay for much longer. Castor is astonished. Saber looks down, bites her lip, and desperately pulls back her sword. Right, that's the end of the word run. Run! She moans in despair. Drip. Saber hangs her head and cries. Oh no, Saber. Oh no, you're all about, you know, the protecting of the people. Oh, because you want to protect. Oh no, Saber, this is so bad for you because, not just, you know, the general reasons it's bad, but also because you're all about how, you know, you wanted to protect your people, and ultimately they turned on you and you killed your people. And granted, they were the people that got betrayed by the one bitch, and so you shouldn't be too hard on yourself for that. However, the fact that you killed your people to, you know, that turned on you, you hated that because you didn't want to kill your people. And Shiro's like, you know, your people, almost. He's kind of like your new people, and you're turning on him too. Again, it's not really your fault, but I can see why you'd hate it. Saber hangs her head and cries.
逃げて、シロ。
Run, Shiro! Saber pleads with so much effort that she might cough up blood.
シロ、来なさい。
Come on, Shiro!
待て、父さんが。
Oh, so I was right. We do have to run away. Okay. I thought Castor was just gonna let us go. Nope. Hold on, Tosaka! I run, my arm pulled by Tosaka. The wound on my shoulder is so hot that my mind's not working. But I have Fujine in my arms, and I've accepted that running away is the only option. No. I have no choice but to accept it. Yeah, what's the alternative? Die? Drown in your ideals and die? Is the line playing in your head? Because that's exactly what was about to happen. Drown in your ideals and die, or run and live to fight another day. What a contradiction. She threw away her pride as a swordsman and told me to run away. To honor her wish is the greatest help I can provide for her. Oh, there's that too, I suppose. She gave you the chance to run. With how much she's done for you, because she told you to run, you should accept it. If Rin had tried to tell you to run, you might not have accepted it. You might have just wanted to let yourself die. But Saber told you to run, so you couldn't really turn that down. But on the other hand, ignoring her tears and running away means losing her. My breath is ragged. Oh, yeah, of course, going to Rin's makes sense. You know, having both servants is a really nice convenience, isn't it? It's almost like the nice thing of teaming up is that we have both. So why is it that we always only have fucking one? When we attack Kazuki, we don't need Archer here. When Rin's staying over at my place, we don't need Archer here. When and then what else? At the school, we don't need Archer here. Granted, Rin wanted Archer there. And then there was some circumstance there where they didn't need Saber and they just had Archer. But like, oh, when they're at school in general, they have Archer and Saber's not around. And it's like, you know, can't you just have both for once? Shit like this will happen if you don't have both. The benefit of the both is the both. Oh yeah, the screen transition was, he was like pained all the way. Lots of bleed, much blood. My breath is ragged. I don't know where we ran, but the familiar Western-style mansion is before me.
Shiro, こっち。意識はある？まだ歩ける？
This way, Shiro. Are you conscious? Can you walk? I wonder what Taiga's gonna think when she wakes up. I run, being pulled by someone. My body is strangely light. I must have gotten lighter after losing the things within me. Or I just feel nothing. The only weight I feel is the body of Fujine in my arms. I assume that's why you would have felt lighter, like someone took her out of your hands, but... I can't see well. I'm not sure where I'm walking now, nor what I'm doing.
藤村先生はそこに寝かせて。ちょっと聞いてるの、シロ。いいから、ここなら安全だから手を離しなさいっての。
Oh, that protective instinct. You can lay Fujimura-sensei there. Hey, are you listening to me, Shiro? It's safe here, so let go of her. That huge protective instinct. He was so worried for Taiga. Makes sense. He was so worried that once she was finally safe, he didn't know if he could trust it. Like, it all felt so wrong. He wasn't willing to say her name, that once he got hold of her, he just wants to keep holding her until, you know, like, he's too delirious now to to analyze the fact that it's safe and he just has to keep protecting. Someone takes away the person in my arms. The important weight disappears. Ah, yes. The only important weight in your body is gone. What's left is not important, right? It never was. At the same time, my body becomes heavy. It's light as long as you're protecting someone. It's heavy when you have nothing to protect. He is a sheath, after all. He was meant to be saber sheath, but now, tiger sheath? Only family I have left as far as I know. Ilya's kind of his family in a way, but, yeah. At the same time, my body becomes heavy. The light body turns into iron, and I fall, unable to keep myself up. You have nothing to keep yourself up anymore. You were protecting Taiga, that gave you a purpose. There's no reason to protect yourself. Hurry, Archer! I'll treat him, so take him to my room! I hear someone's voice. My body is heavy and hot. I imagine turning red. Like when you grow up and you wear red clothes. Does it get this hot when you put steel in fire to make a sword? Oh boy, more sword analogies. Shiro always horny for the swords. Shiro basically betrayed Saber for Taiga at the end of the day. Yeah, kinda. And he thought of killing Rin. Yeah. You know, he was put in a position, he was forced to make a choice. He didn't really make a choice. I mean, not in that sense, but it still ended up being made for him. Because he outright refused to give up Taiga, he did end up losing Saber. It's not that simple. It wasn't as simple as choose one, but, you know, I can see why certainly he would think of it that way in retrospect. Does it get this hot when you put steel in fire to make a sword? The heat gradually goes away as time passes. Dashish dash. So, before that, we had some status upgrades, updates. What does Saber look like? Master! Caster! You're right, he did make the choice. I forgot. Even though he didn't expect Caster to steal Saber in that way. That's right, that's right. He was fully planning to let Caster take Saber's command spells. I forgot, right. Even though it didn't happen in the same way, he was willing to give up Saber for Taiga. That's right, he did make a choice of sorts. Uh-huh. He was forced to make a choice, and he chose. So he's got to feel terrible about that, because the ideal of saving everyone was just shattered, and he shattered it. Because, you know, by making a choice, that ideal is dead. Master Caster. We still don't know about Excalibur in this timeline. We don't know her name. Wow. I wonder if Shiro's going to have a BTSD. I'm sure he's going to have some traumatic, of course, but I wonder if he's going to specifically bring up that I never even learned her real name. Oh. Uh-huh. And then going over to Caster, maybe? Do we have Noble Phantasm? We do! Oh, the Saber image. Rule Breaker. Destroyer of all marks. A dagger that can destroy any magic. An ultimate anti-magic Noble Phantasm that returns any object strengthened with magic. Bound by a returns any object strengthened by magic, bound by a contract, or any life form created out of magic to a state prior to its creation. So it undoes a contract, unstrengthens something. Okay, I think I get the idea. A magical weapon that materializes the divinity of the Witch of Betrayal. Uh-huh. Like its appearance, its attack power is weak. And it only has the killing power of a knife. Rank C? What? Type anti-magic Noble Phantasm, range 1. I guess it's rank C because you have to be really close and it's kind of wonky to use. But, like, stealing someone's pretty strong. Okay. Do we get any new skills for Caster? No, she just says high speed, divine language. Alright. Do we get any weapons? Axord, Kasho, Bakusho. Okay, nope. Alright, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I did. I checked Saber, right? Didn't I check everything that matters? I know that her master is Caster now. Does she have new skills? I already checked that her master is Caster. That I know. She has no details. There's no phantasm that I'm aware of. Anyways. Right. So. Okay. No more Saber. Now what? He might not have been mentally ready for something like this in Timeline 1, but this is exactly the kind of thing that I wish he was put in more of in Timeline 1, because, you know, he was always going to ignore shit like this as much as possible, so I was hoping for more times where he was forced to deal with shit. And this is not quite the same thing, and it is Timeline 2 Shiro, but it's still being forced to deal with this even if he would never want to deal with something. And in this case, it's his ideal, his heroic ideal of saving everyone. And now he made the choice to, he was thinking, I'm probably going to have to abandon Saber by doing this. And he still did it and saved Taiga. So it's going to shatter him. The question is, how does he deal with the aftermath? Woo! This feels like a good beat to me. I like this beat. This is filled with potential. We're at a new section. I think I'm going to stop here. Yeah. It feels right. Feels right. This feels like a good end for the day. So, Saber got body snatched and taken. She does not seem to have been body swapped. I feel like there was an implication in Timeline 1. There was some body swapping. Whatever. I'm not going to worry too much about that. But yeah, that's interesting. That's fascinating. No more Saber. We might get Saber back, but probably not. If we do get her back, it probably won't be like to the end, till Caster. I think if we're getting, okay, I am of two minds of this. Either, if we get Saber back, I feel like it would be a last minute thing where Caster is the final boss of this pathway, which I'm more and more seeing as a possibility, that Caster could be the final boss of this pathway, in which case, we would get Saber back for the grand finale. Archer might have to sacrifice himself to get Saber back. The alternative is that we don't get Saber back at all, and that we just have to, even if we free her from Caster's spell, we have no more command spells, and Saber just fizzles, and that would be in the sort of, it would be a climax of his own, but there might be a little bit more to build towards afterwards. However, at this point, it does feel like they might be building towards Caster as the final boss of this pathway. It's starting to feel more cemented. Because they can't really do Gilly again. Ilya, maybe, but there's been, like, so no build-up. Makiri, maybe, but if there's a Sakura pathway, and even if there isn't, they haven't touched on Makiri much, and I feel like he's something they're building up. They're building up the Mato story, I think, because we only barely got a name drop in Timeline 1. Now we haven't seen him, but we've now heard, you know, about the grandfather in Timeline 2. I feel like they're building up, and Makiri might be the big villain in Timeline 3, maybe. That would make sense if Timeline 3 is a Sakura path, which is my guess right now. In which case, Timeline 2 might just be the Caster big villain, in which case it's a slow build to the one villain you have all along, which is a big departure from Timeline 1, where Gilgamesh, you know, completely comes out of nowhere, and Kirai being a bad guy also comes out of nowhere, in theory. I knew about Kirai being a bad guy, and I knew about, you know, Gilgamesh to an extent. I didn't know Gilgamesh would be in the visual novel, and I didn't necessarily know Kirai would have an evil plan, though I started suspecting that a decent ways in, because I'm like, you know, it'd be weird that Fate Zero make him this big without him having a role in this one. So, I kind of could have predicted those, but they still, in theory, if you're to play this first, they come towards the end. whereas Castor is something they've been building for a long time, and I think this is a final boss that they're going to build towards throughout the entire timeline. And I do think she's actually going to come last. Now that she's stolen Saber from me, I think that's what I needed to convince me that that's where this is going. And then I think timeline 3, it's going to be the idea of a building thing over the course of the whole thing, of building the Mato story. So there's probably going to be some more Shinji stuff left unanswered in this one too. Although that begs the question. They could fully answer the Shinji stuff and then just sideline him in timeline 3 for Sakura stuff. I wonder if they're going to do... I'm just thinking about shit now. I wonder if they're going to do a Shinji redemption arc. I teased the idea, but he's very mentally fucked up. And I wonder if they're going to do a Shinji... I don't know. I could see timeline 3. Not in this timeline, I don't think. They might have blown the coop. But they might try a Shinji redemption arc just because he seems mentally tormented, and adding the fact that it seems like Makiri might be the one really pulling the strings, it's possible Shinji can be saved. It's also possible he's too far gone. That's very possible. But it's possible he could be saved, and I'm wondering if they might try that in timeline 3. I don't know. I don't think they'd try it in timeline 2. I think Shinji's going to get shanked by Gilgamesh at some point. But... So will the final battle be Archer vs. Castor rematch? Or maybe Archer vs. Saber rematch. Yeah. That's where the prologue breaks, is at the Saber vs. Archer. And they never get to properly fight because Saber like one-shots him because he's not paying attention, because seeing Saber messed with his mind. Having a proper fight between Archer and Saber is an extremely interesting proposition. Having that as the final duel of a sorts, or maybe even, Archer versus Castor. Either way, or both, sounds interesting, and it sounds like a nice narrative through line to come to conclusion. So Castor probably is the final villain at this point. And she's very fitting. She's villainous enough to fit as a final villain. It does make me wonder what's happening with the Shinji Gilgamesh thing. If I had to guess, that's what's going to happen next, is that Gilgamesh probably... Castor said she's going to go after Berserker. However, it's possible Gilgamesh already did that, and so the next thing might be to confront Shinji and Gilgamesh, and we might try to help out Ilya. Even if Berserker's taken out, I don't think Ilya would be dead, because Gilgamesh would probably try to use her to make a Grail or whatever. And so we might have to fight against Shinji, and we might get an Archer off, Archer versus Archer, and that's probably going to be like the mid-climax. And then after that, we have to deal with Saber and Castor. Or Castor kills Gilgamesh. That could happen, but I feel like there's enough intrigue with the Shinji Gilgamesh combo that they wouldn't just oust Gilgamesh like that. The idea of Shiro having a proper fight with Gilly, which he didn't really get in Timeline 1, even though they were sort of building to it, or just an Archer off, are both interesting enough, and the idea of them happening is there, that I do not believe they're just going to oust Gilgamesh like that. Another reason is because I have a very big suspicion that if this is a prominent Archer timeline where Timeline 3 doesn't really deal with him because they fully settle him here, then the best time for an Archer off would be this timeline. It would be ironic if Castor worfed Gil in this timeline. It would, but I think if they were going to do that, they wouldn't have already set up the Shinji interaction, because there's enough potential for there to be intrigue there that for her to wharf Gilgamesh now would be boring. If they were going to do that, I don't think they would have set up the Shinji thing. But, yeah, so I'm done for now. I had some thoughts I wanted to talk about, and I think I've finished talking about them. So, if you watch this on YouTube, or if you're watching the Twitch highlight, I guess, I still don't have an outro phrase. It's over. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. I'm interested. This is very interesting. I think, I'm seeing the outline of where it's going for the rest of it. Ugh. No Saber. That's crazy. That's something. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Oh, okay.